now, except for some cameras. Hi, everybody.
Well, I still have yours. Should I reconnect?
You want to try it? Sure. We're having some
Okay,
more. I think it's Roll20's fault. I'm gonna blame Roll20 since they
probably. I
got
mean,
hacked.
it's been having lots of trouble, yeah, with the hack and everything, and
Yeah.
they changed the. They just added the new music thing.
Oh, that's right. We're losing fan burst. Yeah.
Yeah, we're losing
So
fanbase, but we've got the ability to upload. I think it's 2 gigabytes of music, six
nice.
if you're subscribing.
Got
So
it.
that's cool.
Okay. All right. So, hey everybody, we're live. It's Sunday. Some of us are extremely sniffly, so sorry about that. Between
Yep.
allergies and sickness and the fact that it's just gross. And it's February. So, hopefully, we'll get some cameras back. Sam will be joining us very soon. They'll come back here in a moment. So, just real quick before we launch into the game, wanted to remind you guys that we have today's game. We have the March 3rd game, and then we're going to go on about a 3-week break because we have charity games to do in March.
Hey.
Yeah. So March 22nd through 24th, please join us if you can. All of these guys are going to be playing and or running something. We're going to be doing D&D. We're going to be doing Vampire the Masquerade. It's going to be amazing. We have tons of guests. We have giveaways, all kinds of crap. Watch our Twitter at terrible_party for more details. Yay. I've had a lot of coffee, guys.
Yay.
It's going to be interesting. Do you want to promote your game, Volker?
Yeah. In addition to running Vampire on the, what was it, 23rd or 24th?
23rd.
The Saturday one.
Yeah.
In addition to running that one, I started running a new campaign of Dungeons and Dragons, my own conversion of the old Birthright setting back from 2nd edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, that I converted to 5e. And we are having our 3rd session tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on my own channel,
Woo-hoo.
which
Yeah.
is Squirrel_games with a Z.
Nice. And we will auto host as well, but make sure that you actually join his stream, hop into chat, say hi, watch some craziness. It'll be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah. How many players do you have? Remind me. I've lost track of everything.
You what?
How many players do you have?
I have 4 players.
4. Okay, that's what I thought.
All members of the World of Warcraft guild I have joined.
Nice. That's awesome.
Cool people.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's super cool. All right. So there's that. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Nothing.
No.
Okie dokie.
Guess not.
It's totally fine. I totally lost track of what I was going to say. Oh, just a little promotion in order, because I've been trying to talk up the charity games. I was just on the Rocks Fall podcast with Devin Truby. That was really cool, so you can check him out at Rocks Fall. Talking about philanthropic efforts with tabletop role-playing games and what that means to us and kind of how all that came around. And then we talked a little bit about Vampire, too, which was fun. So you can check that out. And then I'm going to be on another podcast. I'm not going to tell you guys which one. Tomorrow night we're recording, so it'll be cool. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh, God, let's do this. All right. So, last game, a couple weeks ago. We had a little bit more of a low-key encounter, especially because you guys just did kill Ralashaz. I think you needed it. Little break. You went into the cookie cabin. Alora proceeded to drink a fair bit of wine and talk to you guys a little bit about some of the things that have been going on in Iman, because now people are getting worried. Kymel got set on fire. Troops have been moving around, things, and everyone's very concerned. It's only been a little over a year after the end of the Chroma Conclave. Everyone's on edge. You guys chatted, you rested, a well-deserved rest, and instead of maybe thinking about what was next, our gnome wizard said, nope, go to Daggerbay. My parents are in trouble. We're going to go get them. So that was the course of action that was decided. While you were in the cookie cabin, a note was suddenly on the hearth, and it led you to Tabernacles. Ulrin opened up the gate stone for that. You guys went in and found Tabernacles Global Emporium had been raided. Completely messed up, broken tables and displays. The symbol of Ralashaw's burned into the floor, so this probably happened a while ago. And Ellie was gone. She did, however, leave behind a note that let you know that you were welcome to take whatever was still remaining in the store, and instead of signing it with the name Ellie, she signed it with the name Istis. You guys rested, you left, you traveled through the jungle, you presented your invitation at the gates of the ruins of Onoa to a guard, and right before that happened, Hazel had told you that she had been called away by her mentor to help try to track down these lichen-killing cultists. And that is largely because Julia has moved to the other side of the world, so she won't be able to join us for a little bit. So we bid Hazel adieu temporarily. She'll be back. And you guys ended the game being escorted to the steps of a large building, one of the few standing buildings in the ruins, and a man was standing there with a gun on his back. It's the first time you've ever seen a weapon outside of the hands of Torkel. And he greeted you and he said, "So, welcome. Shall we talk about my sunken temple?"
Perhaps we should.
Excellent. I have prepared the best dinner possible. Wild boar, vegetables, fresh fruit, plenty of wine and ale. Please join me if you would. And he kind of motions behind him to the building, where you do see looks like the flicker of firelight behind him.
Well, I'm kind of hungry probably, so I'm gonna give the others a look, like, what do you guys think, you know? And if nobody gives me a look of no way, I'm gonna go sit there and start eating.
Okay.
Alicia will not smile, but just start to walk in, even though this is because she knows that she should do this. She knows she must get information. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I saw Narax's sigh.
Yeah. It's the okay, here we go again. This just doesn't work.
Seven and Lost Marble are gonna hang in the back, just kind of watching everything that's going on. You guys, as you start to move forward and follow the Imperialist, you do see heavy rotations of armed guards. They are all armed with either swords, bows, and a few of them, who are dressed a little bit more formally than the other guards, do have firearms. Not many. There's a few. There's probably, if you stop and kind of take a real close look, if everyone wants to do perception checks.
Sure.
I want to.
Higher numbers will give you a better idea.
Oh, so close to that net 20, but it was a 2.
I saw it tip. Yeah, I was like, God damn it!
Like,
Okay, 3, 21, 12. Got it. So Ulrin, not surprising that it's Ulrin actually, being highly perceptive that you are. You look around, you count about 15 guards. They look like elite or somehow specially trained. They're, like I said, they're dressed differently. They're dressed better. Their armor is in good shape. Mostly wearing heavy studded leather. Kind of not smart to fire a firearm with plate armor. But you count, yeah, there's about 15, and they have similar long rifles to what the Imperialist has on his back.
Oh.
So, you guys are all following him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alicia's
yeah.
even if she's not perceptive, she's gonna try and absorb all kinds of information and everything she can get while walking. Just
Sure.
Yeah.
Just immediately that you see these ruins it's definitely ruins. You know, everything's crumbling. The building that you are walking into You're not sure it's a 3-story building. You're not sure what the intention of it was, whether that matters or not. But wide archways for doorways. No glass, obviously, in the windows where the windows would be. It is, as you start to walk in, you notice that it has been decorated in some aspect. There are actually decently made tapestries kind of hanging on the walls. Looks like to help kind of cover up the help cover up the crumbling walls. The furniture looks like it was nicely carved by a skilled hand. You are backed up, and Alicia, as you turn around, you do see that there are guards behind you guys, keeping a distance, but they are following you.
Yeah, they're escorting us, I guess.
Yes.
Makes sense.
The Imperialist is leading the way. You walk for a couple of minutes, kind of winding through some hallways, and eventually he leads you to a courtyard in the center of this building, where there are flowers growing. It looks like there are, they've tamed the wild vines to be a little more neat, almost like crawling ivy and that kind of thing along the walls. There are potted vegetables hanging out on the edges of the courtyard that looks like they've been tended recently. And in the middle of this is a large dining room table. It looks like half a tree almost, with several seats around it and just laden with food and drink.
Cool.
Motions all you forward. Please. I am doing what I can to give you that grand entrance that I so promised. Unfortunately, we haven't had as much luck fixing up the ruins as I would like, but progress for anything really is helpful. So please make yourselves at home. Don't stand on any kind of, any parlance on my account. Just go for it. And he stands back and crosses his arms, and he's just kind of smiling.
Well, along the way, Volcar has noted presence of firearms. It's not super familiar with it, but he's got a cousin who's into that, so
right.
Even if it rolled super terrible perception, I figured he would have at least not noted how many there were or what kind, but they got firearms, okay.
You spotted
interesting.
some, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then he just goes like, well, don't mind if I do. And he just goes straight at the nearest seat that is nearest to a good plate of meat.
Okay.
Start eating some boar.
There is a
boar
small
is
wild
delicious.
boar on the table.
Yep. Nom, 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 nom.
Okay, so it's delicious. This is some good shit, Volcar.
I mean, boar is good. I've had boar in burger form. It was great.
Oh yeah. No, this is excellent. It's perfectly done. There are root vegetables. You've got a whole dish of seasoned potatoes. There's bowls of wild berries that have been mixed up with cream. There's bottles of wine and ale. Yeah, it is. What would the rest of you like to do? You just watch Volcar go over and go, okay.
I grab the bowl of berries.
Okay. They're very good. They're a little tangy, but it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Alicia will sit down, not right next to the place that looks like where it looks like the Imperialist will sit down, but 2 spaces away, and not eat anything. She will just sit down and be polite, but not eat anything.
Got it.
Neuraxis will deliberately put himself between Elijah and the Imperialist, just okay, let's just sit here. Look.
Okay.
I'm keeping a really close eye on Alicia.
Okay.
All the time.
Have we
Or
seen
not
any slaves
this,
yet?
but
Just have we noticed the presence of slaves in this area?
No.
Okay.
I think that's probably
It is all guards.
Yeah.
And
That's
the ones
what's
who
making
walked you in are taking positions around, but at a respectful distance. Kind of tucked into the alcoves. They're 30 feet away, 30, 35 feet away. This is a large courtyard.
Yeah.
What about you, Alrin?
I'll probably walk up behind Neuraxis and just kind of pat him on the shoulder, and then just tell him to take it easy. And then I'll go find a seat. I'll take out my mug and some ale from the bag, and I'll pour my own drink and just kind of sit there and drink. Just kind of staying observant and just sitting there.
Okay. Once you guys are all seated or standing to some edge, Marble 7 has not left your side, so he's gonna stick with you through this like he usually does. And eventually, once you guys are all settled in one form or another, the Imperialist comes over, pulls out a chair, not at the head of the table, but beside Volkar, sits down, reaches for a bottle of wine, and says, well, don't mind if I do. I mean, this is some excellent wine. I got it shipped all the way from Whitestone, if you can believe it. And starts pouring a glass. Anyone?
Yeah, sure.
Alicia will like hand her glass over, but like not drink of it, just like pour a bit.
Got it. He pours it. He says, now, goblet, or I don't mean to, I don't usually run into some of the smaller folk. Is a goblet okay?
Goblet is fine.
Oh, wonderful. Pours healthy amount. It's like a deep ruby red. Puts it in front of you. Same with you, Volkar. Pours a full goblet. Goes kind of. He doesn't touch you, but he's like, I know you dwarves. You do. Yeah. I tell you what. I got in a drinking contest with a dwarf one time, and he smoked me. Never again. Never again.
I give like a little like the polite chuckle, and I'm like, yeah, I imagine it's not the only thing you've got from Whitestone, eh?
I mean,
Like glancing at the nearest guards who has a firearm.
oh, the armor actually came from, where did we... Hey, Yusuf, where did we get that armor? And the guard just kind of looks at all of you and goes, it came from Western, sir? Ah, yes. Western.
I'm not talking about the armor.
Oh. Well, what... I don't...
Talking about the guns. Got a cousin who's into those.
Oh, it's funny. It's an odd story. Are you familiar with the Linens Guild Warrens below Singorn?
The what?
In a manner of speaking.
Ah, so some of you have been there. There's a great market. If you've not been, there's a wonderful market below Singorn. And the guards kind of just leave it alone. They do a trade in these down there. That's where we got them. You gotta know the right passcode, of course, to get in, but once you do...
Of course.
I mean, who doesn't want a loud weapon that goes boom, right?
This is totally going in a letter to Torkel.
Furiously. Volkar, I'm actually going to have you, as you're looking him over and you're kind of looking your surroundings over, I'm going to have you roll a history check with advantage for me.
Ooh.
Given your bardness.
History with advantage. And this is interesting because, I got I got 2 more skills with the bard bonus.
Oh.
And history is one of them.
Yes.
20
do it. Dirty 20? Okay.
That's the way, yeah.
That's good
At
enough.
least,
So something that...
One of them was a 2 again, so I'm glad I got into that.
So you, now that you're thinking about it, you're not certain 100%, but you get the sensation that this man may be an adventurer of renown that you've heard some stories about. You don't know the name because his leg, his false mechanical leg that he has from the right knee down that he takes no pains to cover is very unique and looks like it's dwarven made.
Ooh.
So you get the sensation you've heard of this guy before, and he was in our parlance from DM to player, an Indiana Jones-esque style adventurer back in the day.
Cool. How did he turn into a fucking slaver then?
Dunno. So he's
Suspicious.
content to watch you guys eat and drink and just make small talk. And once you guys have kind of slowed in your eating, he asks you all your names. I don't know if anyone's going to lie about that.
No.
If you don't, I'm gonna I'm not gonna lie about my first name, but if he asks for a last name, I'm gonna lie.
Got it.
I introduced myself as Lost.
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce myself as I'm Thunderstorm Vol. Might have heard of me.
Let me see if he has. He has. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I saw you perform.
You saw me?
I did. I have seen you perform in Amman before.
Wait, were you at the festival, the Phoenix
no,
thing?
This would have been a few years ago. You had.
That was with the Barnacle Bards, right?
The Goliath? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You guys were so amazing. I tell you what, I know that you're part of an adventuring group, but if you ever need a performing gig, you let me know.
Yeah, maybe when I retire from the whole adventuring thing.
Understood. And he kind of slaps you on the back. It's a good smack. He's got
If
some
you're
weight.
still alive by then. I'm not saying that.
I love it. Vengeance. Death. Everyone dies. You guys are all watching Naraxis start to puff out a little bit.
Man, I don't want to kill my fan.
You're not gonna kill him.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
right,
hold
no.
him. We will
Yeah, have me kill him.
Oh, man. So, I was hoping that I'm very grateful that you all accepted my invitation because I've heard some stories about all of you, and I certainly can't afford to hire a Vox Machina style, but you all have some renown behind you. The story of what happened in Duran Village has made its way down south through Amman, and I have my own little birds that kind of keep an eye out on things, and I was hoping that I could hire you to, I hate to use the word raid, but go into this temple that's about a 2-day hike south through the jungle. I'm looking for history. I'm looking for artifacts, history, anything that would lend us any kind of idea about this area. Past, of course, the history of the ruins of Onoa. But it's strange to see a temple sunken into the swamp. I'm willing to pay handsomely if you're interested in taking the job.
So you want competent but not legendary, right?
Correct, yes.
And what's the end goal here? You want to uncover the history of the area, or?
I am, because I would like to restore this area back to its former glory. It was the first civilization in Taldore, and I would like to restore it.
It's when the people first arrived. It was here, right?
Yes.
Do you think he's being truthful?
You want to do an insight check?
I want to do an insight check.
Who wants to do an insight check?
Natural 20. So that's a 28.
I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just making a
I'm
thought,
gonna
knowing
I
that
don't
other
trust him.
people can figure him out.
Oh my god!
I got a natural 20!
Jesus Christ!
That's 19 plus natural 20.
Natural 20. You both are like, ah! So, he is telling the truth. He's definitely telling the truth about wanting to uncover the history and wanting to restore this area.
Yeah.
You don't sense any... He's looking you dead in the eyes when he's saying this.
Mm.
He
With
seems
him
to
as
be
king.
excited about the prospect of restoring this area. As you guys are looking around and getting more used to your surroundings, you do see that it looks like there are stacks of masonry bricks that have been piled off to one side. It looks like they're trying to rebuild some of the walls. He seems genuine.
So you want to restore it to its former glory? I mean, just not rebuild a little. That's gonna take some manpower.
Right. And there has been, I've reached out to the dwarves of Craghammer to hopefully maybe contact the Masons Guild there. Haven't heard back yet. I know they're tough to deal with sometimes, so if you have any insights, either one of you, and he's looking at the dwarves, let me know, because
I mean,
hard to get into that place.
you would need more than just one or two guys, so...
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've actually contracted out. There's also a Masons Guild in Amman that we're working with. We're in negotiation process. You know how that is sometimes. Takes a little bit. So we've just been trying to work on cataloging the vegetation and the animal life around here. I don't want to disturb any natural habitats. We probably won't be restoring any of the villages, and he points down the hill to the village that you guys had seen on your approach that sits down in the valley that's pictured in front of you.
Yeah, mostly the main city, right?
Yes, I'm focused on the ruins, and then we will also need to build farmland. We need to build places for people who want to work the land to live on. We have some folks who are working the land right now, but if we're going to feed an entire city, we certainly need more. And then, of course, establishing trade routes.
Of course.
And then the docks, which is a whole other problem. Don't know if you guys have ever fought mermen, but we have a real issue on the coast as well with that, so...
Huh. That could be another job.
Could be.
After we're done with the temple, we'll see.
Yes, so... I don't need to be crass, but if you would like to know the details of the job, and I know adventurers, if you want to know what I'm paying you, I can tell you right now.
I just have one question first.
Absolutely.
Did you say you had any manpower now? Because it looks like you have rebuilt quite a lot, even just now.
Yes, we have some people who are working the land. We have some people who are starting to mine. Unfortunately, the stone we need to build isn't in the mines, but we are finding a few veins of gems, which may be useful in trade. So I've hired some miners out of just some of the outlying areas, and some people who also came this direction when Thordak hit. I offered them a place here, and they've been working the land.
You catalog the wildlife. What do we got to worry about?
A fair bit, and that's another reason why I'm willing to pay so much. So there are walking plants that have killed a few of the guards.
Volkar kind of scoffs at that because walking to the end, what the hell?
They might be some of the most terrifying things I've ever seen. They actually, once they kill you, they pick your body up and absorb it.
Have you seen any swamp cows?
Not this again.
No, but I've seen giant frogs. So that may be. I don't know if that's. Is that it? He kind of looks at the red. Is that a tabaxi?
I think.
I don't really know.
I think the giant frogs are like. I think they're like relatives of the swamp cows. So I think that's a good sign.
These things have, like. Yusuf, you saw this thing. Can you describe it? And the guard whom you presented the invitation to comes over. Human man, probably in his late 40s, with like a patchy brown beard, been out in the sun too long, he's kind of sunburnt, and he says, yeah, it's actually got 3 eyes in the top of its head, and it's got these, I don't really want to call them tentacles, but they look like vines that kind of shoot out, and they grab you, and it eats things whole. Just shoves it into its gullet. The thing's probably 12 feet tall. It's not a frog, it's a monster. He goes, that's, right, let's not maybe scare the adventurers off, if you would please, Yusuf, thank you very much. So there's that, and then there are just the strange things that live in the trees, birds that like to follow you, strange little fuzzy things that live in the trees that don't look dangerous, but their claws are extra sharp. Like I said, we've just started, so... And then, of course, just the natural dangers of the jungle and the swamp, whether it be, vines with razors on them, poisonous barbs, anything like that. So, I'm willing to pay you. It's 5,000 gold if you can bring anything back from the temple.
I mean, anything? What if we brought, like, a pebble?
Well, right. Okay, then. He just looks at all of you. Not quite. I should be more specific. That is a very good point you're making.
You should.
Yes, I should. Any scrolls, any books. I would appreciate any rubbings of any carvings. Anything like that. And if you bring back a decent amount of artifacts and or history or documents, I'm willing to up the pay.
Hmm.
I mean, you can always catalog anything too big to move and at least tell them what's there.
Exactly. Anything that you can't move, any carvings you see in the walls, no matter whether it looks mundane or not, if you could just either sketch it if someone's an artist, or take a rubbing of it. I have plenty of parchment and charcoal that I could supply you with. I have, unfortunately, no real map of the temple. We've only seen it from afar. Because some of my guards were, my scouting party were waylaid by this monstrous frog, so I'm pretty sure it lives somewhere in that swamp.
Apparently one of us is louder than everyone else, probably me.
No. I have adjusted your volume. I'll turn it down again and see if that helps. So, what do you say?
Do you know if there are any, like, monsters living in the temple thing?
We've not gotten that far, unfortunately. I know that Yusuf and what remained of the scouting party did come back and say that they didn't see, other than that frog creature, they did see some large reptiles, but they had kind of like feathered crests. They didn't seem particularly interested in the scouting party. Looked like they were eating plants, so maybe they're not even carnivorous.
They could be omnivores, like eating both. That's the thing.
That's completely true. Yes, it's very, very possible.
Or maybe they eat meat but not people.
Maybe not.
Who are armed.
Yeah, could be they see armed, beings as a threat. I mean, that's a natural instinct.
Well, either way, the temple's in the swamp. Probably anything in it is also in the swamp and just layering in there. So.
Yeah, it can be done.
Yep.
So, he kind of gives you the outline of how to get there. Basically, you're going to follow they have hacked out a path. It looks like an old traveler's path from the ruins down to the village that's below. That's going to take you about 3/4 of a day to get there. He recommends resting there. They've used it as there are some makeshift camps that they have used over time while they've been here. And then you could set off for the sunken temple, which would be another day-ish to get there. So 2 days total. And it's pretty much a direct path south. If you get lost in the jungle, try to get back onto the path they've carved.
So...
I'm just gonna say, I'm guessing it's probably nearing an hour now since I cast Alter Self, so I'm gonna cast that again.
Got it.
It's verbal and it's this V and M. Like V and S, I mean. If I need to roll for sleight of hand.
Yeah, you're gonna need to roll sleight of hand on that one, unless you want to walk away.
Can I just excuse myself and say I need to go to the bathroom?
You can do that.
While she's casting,
I'm gonna do that.
While she's casting that, I'm gonna.
I mean, why risk it when you can just excuse yourself?
I'm just gonna
for a couple
excuse myself to
minutes?
go to the bathroom and cast it and come back.
Okay.
I need to repowder my face.
It's hot here. Yes, Oren.
I don't suppose through all of this philanthropy of you rebuilding this land and everything, there's some sort of artifact that you're particularly after, like, say, some supreme scroll of ultimate devastation or something.
Yeah, there's always
I feel like we've been on these missions before.
Yeah,
It seems just
legends.
rather rude to not mention the big object before we find it and bring it back not knowing what it is.
I mean, if we find a scroll like that, we'll know what it is, but sure.
I mean, there's always legends with these kinds of places, right? Like,
Yeah.
Why don't you make a persuasion check, Oren?
Can I assist with that?
Yeah, how do you want to assist?
13.
Basically, I'm gonna be like, well, Like, we just met. Like he said, we've been on these kind of missions before, and
Yeah.
just want to make sure we're all on the same page, basically.
Yeah.
No
Because
offense meant at all.
There was this one time in a temple in Marquette, and we found this statue thing, and there was this other
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
and it's just like,
Go ahead
you
and roll
heard
that
of
again
us.
for me,
We're
Ulrich.
like,
He's Volkar's lending you some help there.
20.
Hey,
Boom.
20. All right. He looks at you and he goes, I suppose. It's not an object. It's what I know potentially about this place. The old books and the old stories say that Onoa thrived partially through trade, which any city needs, but also because it eventually became home to the first temple of Ioun, the knowing mistress, here on the continent. Some of her followers and believers moved from Vasselheim to here, and if anybody would have any knowledge of this area, any documentation of it, it would be the knowing mistress herself. So it's my hope that there's still something there, either a diary from a cleric or anything that could help us rebuild this area.
That makes sense.
It made sense to me. It may be a long shot. It may be nothing. And even if you bring nothing back, you still get the 5,000 gold. I'm not going to send you out and not pay you.
That sounds very reasonable, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Do try for that. I mean, I've seen my fair share of adventures in my time, and, well, quite honestly, you're not going to put yourself in danger if you're not getting a reward for it, so...
That's for sure.
Made sense to me. I also can supply you if you need rations, tents, anything like that, although you look like you're fairly well armed and armored. But if you
Healing
need anything,
potions?
Yes, what do you need? We have some.
All.
I didn't know about all.
okay, he's like, what?
Calm down there.
I only have 8. I'm not saying that aloud. I'm not.
What?
No.
You have
That's like-
8 healing potions?
I took them all from Tabernacle,
Oh, right, you did.
Oh, true.
so I'm gonna
Yeah.
share them. I just.
You clank
I'm
when you
around
walk.
it,
What do we like?
I wanted to ask you, Elijah, when you walked away to do
Yeah.
this, were you just doing that? Were you looking for anything?
I am walking away to cast a spell, and
Right.
if I see anything sketchy, like slaves, I'm going.
Okay.
If by any chance you see a slave.
But if
why don't
not-
you go ahead and make a perception check for me.
No,
Come on, you can do it.
I can't.
You can.
But I'm wondering,
Oh.
since I
I
you
can,
can.
apparently.
Oh.
That's a natural 20.
Okay. So
Apparently, I
you-
can see.
They point you to basically an outhouse, and one of the guards they don't follow you. They just watch you. It's kind of down the hill a little bit on flat ground, of course. And you go down the hill, and you start to walk to the outhouse. You're about maybe 20 paces away or so, and you look over, and you do see, looks like a couple of humans carrying big buckets of potatoes over to what looks like a large galley. They're not... When you're picturing slaves in your mind, you're picturing people who are either maybe chained or shackled in some way, dressed not great. They seem to be dressed normally, like you would expect civilians to be dressed. They're wearing clothing good for the heat and the bugs, of course, because there are lots of bugs here. They don't look starved or hurt in any way. They just look a little tired.
If I'm not being watched, I'm gonna try and go over to them.
You are not currently being watched that you can tell.
I'm gonna kind of sneak over to them and just try and like, hey,
Hey,
So,
potato.
how's the area? Who are you? How are you?
It's two young men, probably in their late 20s, have some kind of family resemblance to them, and they look, and then they look down to see you. And go, here, Jonathan, can you take these for a second? And it looks like the other one nods and walks over to the galley. There's no one in the galley right now. It's kind of an open air. Looks like they're the ones preparing the food. And this young man, he's got kind of dark red hair, a little bit of beginnings of a beard around the chin and the jaw. And he smiles at you and he says, is there something I can help you with? I'm sorry. We don't get a whole lot of visitors.
Hi. Me and my party just arrived here. And I'm just wondering, how is this area? How's the Imperialist? Are you here on your own free will?
Can I have a potato?
I might have a charisma of 14, but I'm not wise. It doesn't mean I can use it.
Do you have a purple potato?
Nope.
Oh my god. Okay, it's hot here. I'm sure you're aware of that. It's the jungle, and I don't know what to say. I'm just the cook.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
No.
It's kind of nice to make decent food compared to what the guards usually want, which is just like meat, potatoes, ale. I'm actually making decent food for once.
It's really good food. My
good.
party member has been eating a lot of it. Have you seen... Are there gnomes here?
There's a few, yeah. There's a few of lots of different types of people here.
Just need to check. How long have you been here?
We left, my brother and I left Amon right after Thordak hit.
Okay.
And we came here, so it's been over a year.
Do you know how long other people have been here?
Like who? There's probably 500 people in and around here.
Hey. The oldest, how long have they been here? Do you know that?
Let's see, when I came here, I don't really, let me see if he can figure it out. Okay, that's fair.
Let's see if he can math.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of more along the lines of, he has a job that you're aware of, that he's kind of telling you about. And he goes, well, I mean, there have been some miners here for a while. I know that they started the farmlands when they moved into the ruins. The ground here is actually not bad. There used to be an old volcano here, so there's some decently fertile ground that they're able to grow some crops in, which is where the potatoes are coming from. And so probably, because I think he's been here, and he points back to where your friends are sitting. I think he's been here a couple of years, maybe? So,
okay.
But I don't know who he had with him other than guards.
No, it's fine.
Sorry.
This is my last question, and then I'm gonna let you continue your beautiful work.
Okay.
Do you know the names, Orden and Melina? The parents' names.
Not the first one. That doesn't sound, sorry. That one doesn't sound, but Melina, I know the name. I've overheard it before.
In what context have you overheard it?
Something about, something about her trying to find some history. Something about some books. And she was checking a bunch of books for something.
Okay, thank you so much.
Passing, sorry.
No, that's more than enough. Thank you so much. I'm gonna let you continue with your work now.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. He goes back and starts peeling potatoes.
Alicia will slowly walk back and try and collect herself while her thoughts are running like 1,000 miles per second and just...
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. You guys start to, as you watch Alicia come back, overhead the clouds are starting to gather and darken, and the Imperialist looks up and goes, We may have tested the Stormlord's patience for one day. Maybe we should take cover. You guys start to hear the distant raps of thunder. The weather here is a bit tempestuous this close to the coast.
How bad are the storms around here?
They can get pretty bad. When we start to see clouds like this, we've learned very quickly that if you don't take cover, all hell can break loose like that. So perhaps we should move this inside. Grab whatever food you want, and I'll have the rest brought in, and we can set up by the fireplace, or you can rest. You're welcome to stay here.
I think Araxis just rips a leg off the boar and gets up and just does hum.
I will grab as much as I can fit in my arms.
Okay, that's a decent amount. You could pick the rest of it up if you wanted to.
Yeah, sure. Not to eat all by myself, but
Sure.
just can't let this go to waste.
He just laughs. He goes, "Ha ha! I like your moxie. Let's head inside." So he takes you into what looks like a large parlor, basically. There are some battered pieces of furniture that maybe they've salvaged from somewhere or had brought in. And there's a fire going, and just as you guys get into the building, you hear that crash of thunder, and it shakes the whole building. He says, see, that's what I was talking about. There's lightning. You see it flash out of the corners of your eyes, and then the heavy hit of rain and the smell of a storm. That ozone and rain just soaks into everything.
You sure these old buildings are going to hold up?
This one we've shored up. Some of the other ones we've had to declare basically danger zones. So those are mostly on the outsides of the ruins, where the walls had been attacked when some of the wars hit, 800 years ago, before the Age of Arcanum type of a thing. This one will be okay. You guys watch as the building you can feel it through your ribs, and there's little clouds of dust that come off of the walls, but it seems sturdy enough. He says, I certainly wouldn't put anybody at risk, let alone any of my best guards, or, quite honestly, myself. So, and this is where I stay.
All right.
Volkar is inspired to play a little tune.
Okay.
He basically plays Thunderstruck.
Nice.
He doesn't sing, just plays along with the storm, just
Okay.
inspired,
Nice. Yeah, the Imperialist is into it. So you guys, there's a little impromptu performance by Volkar. You want to make a performance check?
Sure.
Alrighty.
It's not like I'm trying to achieve anything, but sure.
Shits and giggles.
Let's see how good it goes. Damn!
No!
Okay, okay. I want to say that a bit of roof falls on my head in the middle of it.
The Imperialist doesn't seem to care. He's into it. It doesn't. So maybe he's not the best purveyor of taste, or he just likes music in general. It doesn't seem to really matter. It's not like you miss a chord or anything. It's just not your best performance.
Well, with a one, I don't know. I feel like the roof fell on my head.
Okay, sure. You take...
Just a bit of it, like, bonk. God damn it.
You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
Sure.
As a little piece of the wall, and the Imperialist goes, oh, right. That wall, maybe we need to shore up. Yusuf, bring the guards in here. Get that mortar going. And you guys watch as that guard you'd spoken to brings in 2 humans and 2 dwarves who are dressed similarly, though you wouldn't, and no one would notice this except Elysia, dressed similarly to the human cooks you talk to, and they start actually laying down bricks at a rapid fire pace.
Lame. Well, I'm gonna stop playing then.
Okay.
Can I, check to see if these people are under some kind of control, or, see if they're actually, wanting to do this, or...
Interesting. Okay. Make an
I don't know,
Arcana check for me.
Oh, shit.
Or you can do insight.
Oh no.
Depends on what you're looking for. Yes,
Question.
Fuck, I can't.
Question. The Imperialist, is he bald?
Yes.
No.
Fuck.
Then my plan doesn't work.
All the
That was
ones,
my
what the hell?
What is going on?
Nothing. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
We're cursed.
Oh my god. You have no idea, Oren. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Wow.
Not with a 1, yeah. I mean, they look like workers. They from what you can see with your 2 eyes. Same thing that Elysia had spotted. They don't look like they have been beaten or abused in any way. They look like they have enough to eat. They're dressed decently. They're dressed better than most peasants you've ever seen. The clothing is in good shape. They have nicely made leather boots on. Their hands aren't scarred in any ways. They look like they have some mortar on their hands, but from the work they're doing, it makes sense. There's nothing setting off any alarm bells. And if you didn't know the Imperialist's reputation, you wouldn't have any clue that anything was wrong. If there is anything
Nope.
wrong.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that.
I'm gonna do something weird, I think.
I like weird.
Oh
Do it.
no.
I'm gonna use my third eye thing that I got as a third level divination wish, and I'm gonna see invisibility. I can see invisible creatures and objects within 10 feet of me.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I can do that. I can do that until I take a short rest or a long rest, and then I can do it again. So just like know that if anything within 10 feet of me is invisible, I see it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nothing in your immediate.
Nope.
Nope.
I'm just gonna also, if I can, like walk around.
Yeah.
If that doesn't cause suspicion,
Not that you're.
or
I
even if
mean,
it does, I'm just still gonna do it.
There are some bookshelves here. The fire is going. The Imperialist is actually walking around. He goes over to kind of stoke the fire. Takes another swig out of his goblet. Says, we should have brought more of the wine. I wonder if we can get more of the wine up here. And Yusuf goes, I got it, sir, and disappears. It looks like he's sent off. He's made a motion to someone just outside of the room you're in, and you see, looks like a halfling head off.
Question, DM. What was the the nut called that me and Hazel found?
Oh shit, what was that called? I've forgotten. Oh man,
What
I had
nut?
it.
Yeah.
We have it written down somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Yeah.
I may have also just made that up.
I think you did, but I
think I
know we
did.
wrote it down in the chat
God damn it.
somewhere.
Was,
I forgot to write it
was
down
it
in
the
my
nut that I figure should be called a D's nut?
It's
that
the
was
lumpy
that.
nut juice. It's the lumpy nut juice.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's in the chat somewhere. So if someone finds it, let me know. But I
Okay,
don't
I'm gonna
remember.
ask him if they have any of those nuts around, if they grow them locally.
You know, the D's nut, not those nut.
These nuts.
Terrible.
Do you have any of the?
Oh God. Maybe. There are coconut trees here, but I don't think you're talking about a coconut.
Oh, but they are very good as well. But they're kind of smaller nuts, and I think they're red.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
This is-
they're like a reddish nut.
I've not seen anything like that, but like I mentioned, we're still getting a handle on everything that grows here or lives here.
Mhm.
It's possible.
Do you have a lot of druids? Because we're pretty great at like plant stuff.
I have a few who work for me. I pay them, and they help. They do like revitalize the land types of things. They had been the ones to help get the farmland kind of going, and so they also help to keep the any pests out of the crops. But I only have a few, and they're mostly just folks who had either lived in the area and wanted to help out in exchange for money, of course.
Hmm.
Has the guy come back with the wine yet?
It's not
Because
a guard.
if he hasn't filled up the cup of the Imperialist, I'm gonna ask, hey, let me do it.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, and the halfling hands you he's looking questioningly at the Imperialist, and he's not, by all means, I would go right ahead. This halfling is dressed similarly to the other people who are dressed like regular civilians.
Yeah, she has some really great. She has some really great manners,
Okay, as soon as it's Elijah pouring, Noraxis will have a glass.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
trust you. Okay, like
pour
that's fine.
pour Noraxis, and then with the because if I have the tankard of the Imperialist, I'm gonna look if it's any saliva in there, and then try and sneakily grab some of that and put it into like
Oh my
an
god.
empty bottle or something with mage hand.
Grab the
Oh.
saliva.
With mage
Yeah.
hand, that part. But like,
Oh.
I'm just gonna try and get some
Ew.
saliva or a body part because I need it.
This is like
Jesus, that's
Olrin does not
I
approve.
know. I need DNA.
A body
okay?
part
This is
from
some
the
kind
wine
of
glass.
this is real spy work.
CSI.
I need it.
I need it.
Me too.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
God.
Getting this Bond, the
from
CSI
looking at
Bond.
this is freaking amazing. From
Just gonna
looking at
insult
the
it,
wine
then.
goblet in front of you, Elijah, you're not gonna get
So
any
bad.
saliva off
Just
of
like
that.
run your finger.
Fuck.
And you don't see he's bald,
Yep.
but I mean, I don't know what you want.
Pulling on
Exactly.
hair.
If I
It's
push
for-
a
it's
real
for the
large
dream
amount, there's
spell.
gonna be saliva.
It's for the dream spell, which says if you get nail clippings or a piece of hair or
Mage hand a
something
booger.
else,
Oh, God.
he gets disadvantage.
That'd work.
Just mage hand a booger up there.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Go mining. I mean, he's used to mining, so
Oh, that's not.
digging for treasures. He wants us to dig for treasures. There you go.
I mean, my master plan for this game
Wow.
was to braid his hair.
That's not
Yeah.
He has no
I can
hair
braid his arm hair.
or his
It's
back
almost
hair.
almost like an adventurer that he
does
shaves his
have
head and keeps his.
eyebrows. I mean,
No,
Braid his
Yeah.
eyebrows.
no.
okay, so your
No,
chances of getting DNA are extremely thin here.
Yeah.
Pick his nose.
That's probably why he's
Then I'm just
bald,
gonna
to be
fill up
honest.
his goblet and Noraxis' goblet and anyone
Okay.
else who wants
You have to-
wine because I'm realizing.
Pop the cork
Yeah.
on the bottle. It's not been opened yet, so you're the first one to open this.
You have to find
Okay.
his bath.
Oh God, he's giving you a corkscrew. Don't stab him, for God's sake.
Oh god.
Just.
That was not what I was gonna do because I'm just thinking I'm pretty weak. Lost Marble has produced flame. I'm gonna be like cool and just like heat the bottle, like you've seen, like if you like heat the top of the cork, it's.
You know
Oh, no.
nothing of wine. This is gonna ruin the wine.
I know nothing of
Excuse
wine.
me.
The
Okay, I'm
bottle
gonna try the cork
explodes.
to-
We all take 3 points of shrapnel damage.
It's not how.
Thanks.
You need a rubber heeled shoe. You put the bottle in it and just keep bashing it against the wall, and the cork will shoot out.
I'm gonna
Okay.
try
I
use
don't
the
even
corkscrew
understand
then
Okay.
if Sam stops
My
me. Corkscrew.
wine part is aching.
It works.
Wow.
So
It does work.
pour the wine.
Corkscrew.
Okay. Imperialist takes it happily, starts drinking. So, is there anything else that I can tell you? Do you think you'll be set to go in the morning, perhaps?
Yeah, we know where we're going.
Do you have any other information about the place? Do you have any people who have studied it, or do you have any books on it? Because I'm a reader myself.
We've had a few historians here. I do have one in my employ who's been helping me out, but unfortunately, so many of the artifacts and the books, were burned during those wars and those awful dark times for Exandria in general, gods fighting other gods and all of that. We can't even fathom that. That she's not found much, unfortunately, other than that we suspect that this is a temple of Ioun.
Do you think I could speak with her even if she doesn't have much? We might come. But I still can learn something from her, maybe?
I don't know. She's kind of a reclusive personality. She's a little flighty. I don't want to scare her.
I think Noraxis will see where this is going and try and help. It's I know it's. I mean, she's basically our, this historian. The number of times that something in the back of a book has warned us about swinging blades or fire ahead of time. I mean,
Yeah, you never know, like, what kind of, like, information, like, even if it's something extremely common that she might know, might help us a lot. You never know what kind of information you need until you're there.
Marquette was a eye-opener. He's just like...
Oh, yeah.
There were books everywhere. Someone make a persuasion check. Do it with advantage.
I'm gonna do it. In fact, yeah. Oh, no, Neuraxis, can you do it? You're...
Sure.
I looked at persuasion and was like, no.
I looked at
oh, that's very good. Okay.
Thanks.
Where are we? Persuasion. 26.
Okay. He looks a little hesitant and he says, let me see. If she's awake, then fine. I don't want to wake her.
Yeah,
But,
Of course.
let me, Yusuf, can you go get Melina for us, please? Yusuf goes, yeah, I'll go check. Wanders off. Opposite direction that any of you have gone.
Yeah.
Alicia's slightly gonna, like, she's gonna use all her mind power to not fist pump herself because she knew who this was.
Okay.
I think Norax will just start making, like, adventurous small talk with the Imperialists.
Yeah.
Just, like...
It's going to take him about 5 minutes to bring this person back. Is there anything anyone wants to do in that short amount of time?
Eat more.
Okay.
Freak out.
Freak out.
Just
roll for freaking out.
Fine.
Is he wearing his hat?
No.
Where is it? Is it like on his chair?
Doesn't seem to be around.
Yeah.
It's just got a shiny, bald head.
Bald head. Okay.
Yep, one of them.
Bald head.
Yeah.
Bald head.
Just, like, ask him about
I
his
can imagine
adventures.
every morning he polishes his own head.
Probably.
Like, wipe on, wipe off. Wipe on, wipe off.
People do, yeah.
Baby oil. He makes that conversation with you and tells you a little bit about his early days. He got to start actually as a city guard in Amman, but really quickly realized that kind of regimented life didn't suit his personality, and just kind of struck out on his own. He traveled with different groups of adventurers over time, and because he figured out quickly that by yourself you're liable to get killed, so, and learned skills and prides himself on being a master at many different kinds of weapons. And also learned a little magic along the way.
Yeah, I know that feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of magic do you know?
It's a little
What kind
bit
of magic do you know?
It's kind of a mishmash of things.
Ah.
I can do some, illusions. It's helpful for distracting wildlife if they think suddenly there's a bunny over there and you don't have to run into a man-eating leopard or something. And then a little bit of evocation, some fire, some...
I love fire.
Oh, you do?
She does.
Yeah.
Once I figured out fire cantrips, didn't ever need to carry a tinderbox. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Right?
it's great.
Right now, that... Mm-hmm.
And you always have something to do, because if you're bored, you can just... And I produce flame, and then you could just grab stuff and start burning it.
He does the same thing.
Great!
Like
No?
this!
Oh, God.
Exactly! You guys just have little
Yeah.
in your hands. He goes, now, have you mastered this? And he holds out his hand, and there's a different color flame in his hand.
Can you teach me?
Possibly. So this is hot. Put your hand in this. Trust me.
I put my hand...
It's
I
cold.
do it. I just...
It's cold.
But then it doesn't burn stuff, does it?
No, it freezes things. You might want to move your hand.
Oh.
You got a little bit of
That's
frost
cold.
on the ends of your nails.
Ah, frosty.
Yeah. Right? But useful. Closes his hands.
It's very... Can you make, like, a purple flame, and then it's, like
Like, blend them
poison?
together.
Room temperature? What do we...
Yeah, wouldn't that just be lukewarm? I don't quite... I can't to answer.
Lukewarm flame. I'm gonna
That's
try.
the
I'm
least
gonna try to
useful.
produce flame. I'm gonna try to produce a green flame.
Okay. Roll an Arcana check.
Ah.
Druids.
I don't think my Arcana is. No. Oh shit.
I mean, you can.
Please be careful. Okay.
Hey,
8.
-2.
A solid 8.
Alrighty, no. You're just like,
Nope.
nope, nothing. And then your pulse flame
You
goes
could
out, and you're like,
always-
shit.
Do a rainbow-colored flame that doesn't burn at all with like prestidigitation.
I'm gonna do this and
Can't
try to
wait
make
for
a
a-
rainbow. Like,
Oh god. Druid craft. Oh god.
Yeah, you kind of just, it's more reddish orange than anything else, but
you know, it's something.
it's something.
Tomorrow the
It's like,
weather will
that's
be
interesting.
rainbow.
The more you know.
Eventually, Yusuf comes back with a small, dark-haired gnome woman. She has glasses perched on the end of her nose. She's wearing dark, grayish blue robes, and she has a book in her hands. And she looks up at all of you, and she says, "Oh, I didn't know we had company. Was there something? I'm assuming I was called for a
Hello.
reason."
Hi.
It's like Norax has got like one hand on her back. Like,
Hi.
okay, let's just.
Because, yeah, this is my mom, and the other people, they all except us Marble and Seven has seen her before,
Right.
right?
I have no idea who she is.
No, you have no idea. Hi. We're the expedition thing. They're going out tomorrow, and I was wondering if you had more information about us about the place, because apparently you've been selling it.
Hey, breathe. It's okay. She's are you? We're going to the temple.
A student of history, yes, of course.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
She
Let me.
gets a bit too excited.
Oh, well, that's common in our people, anyways. Gnomes sometimes can be a little more excitable. She looks over at the Imperialist and says, "Do you want me to?" And he said, "Yes, please share with them what you found." So she sits down and she pulls out. She has this one book with her, and then she pulls out a smaller book and opens them both and is kind of flipping through and then pushes them together and slides them all to you. And what she presents to you is a loose map of this what they think is the temple. She says, "Now, this isn't a complete description, of course, so take it for what it is. But basically, it looks like it's a multi-tiered or a multi-layered temple with an entrance. It used to be a large courtyard out in the front. There was a bridge over a small body of water, which, given that it's a swamp now, the bridge is probably wiped out. And then you would enter into like a main, like a vestibule kind of area, and then the clerics lived above, and then there were multiple rooms on the main floor, and then also rooms below. And I also suspect," and she points to a large square area, and it's hard from this perspective because it's not a multi-tiered map. Of course, it's a flat map. It's like, I suspect that might be the repository, where if you're looking for anything history-wise, that's where it would be if it's not completely sunken under the water.
Well, even if it is, it would be there.
It would still be there. Whether there's anything there is questionable, of course. But we don't know what kind of magics that would have been cast over that room, or maybe the entire temple, to preserve whatever it is there. I mean, it is the knowing mistress, so
hopefully waterproofing.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so. You never know sometimes, but that's really what we found. There are some other stories, of course, about how it was the main temple to Ioun in Taldore, so many hundreds of years ago, before the Age of Arcanum, but it's spotty history at best. Elijah, as she is talking, I need you to do
staring at her.
An insight check.
Yeah. Insight, okay. 13!
13.
It's better than last time.
Okay. She is, just on the outside, she is tired. You can tell. Her face is kind of drawn. She's a little, granted, how old were you the last time you saw your parents?
I think I was 6. No, I don't remember, because I think I wrote down, I think I was around 10 perhaps.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
10, 12.
A child's memory is not infallible.
No.
She's obviously older. She's got gray shot through her hair, but gnomes live for a while. She looks a little thinner than you remember, but again, this has been, 14, 15 years ago? She's, her hands are ink-stained. That's, your mom always had ink on her hands. It makes sense. She's a little fidgety. And you don't know what that means. But she's kind of twitching her foot under the table, and it rocks her whole body a little bit.
Yeah. Alicia's probably also like fidgety, but like the foot is probably like bouncing up and down without her even noticing.
Sure. That makes sense. So she gives you what she knows. It's a little bit more. You have this kind of loose outline of the temple. She's unfortunately, so much of that world is largely lost. And I wish I could tell you more, but this is what we have.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so very welcome. It's so nice to see another gnome.
I'm not a gnome. I'm still a halfling. I'm halfling right now, and I really want to.
Yeah. So it's just, she'll say it's just so nice to see another of the smaller folk. There's not too many of us around in these parts. This was largely a human settlement. And she kind of looks at the Imperialist. She goes, many thanks, Melina. You're welcome to go back to bed. Apologies for waking. And she goes, oh, no, I was up reading. My husband knows that I'm always a night owl anyways. So I'll go back, though, if it's all right. Yes, go ahead.
Before you go, can I just have a word with you outside, please?
With me?
Yes.
Nerds. Oh my god, they'll be like this all evening, honestly. It's just,
she doesn't
a
look
word,
at you.
she says.
She's looking at the Imperialist. She says, I suppose...
I haven't talked to a gnome in a while. I used to have some gnome friends when I was little, and I just had some question about that, if that's okay.
He looks at you, and this is the first time his gaze has narrowed. And he's looking very closely at you. He says, I only worry because the short trek from here to her home is partially through the jungle, so Yusuf is going to go with you.
I can go with her. It's no problem.
I can go with her. I can protect myself.
Look,
I can follow her over to the.
We're guests, okay? Let's just. I'm so sorry, nerds. They just. It's a whole thing. I don't.
Well, I mean, he relaxes a little bit and he goes, "Oh, I understand completely. But you're welcome to go with her. But we always send guards with anyone after dark."
I mean, that makes sense. Giant frog
sense.
thing. Like
giant frog things, yes.
Yeah.
But I can go because then I can look for the swamp cows.
Oh, if it will stop you talking about it.
If you go to look for the swamp cow, I might as well.
You
might as well all go because you'll be wandering around looking for swamp cows.
No, you can find swamp cows in the strangest of places. I once heard that someone found it in their bathroom.
Oh, good lord! This is a problem for tomorrow. He's just like, he just looks at the Imperialist. He's like, "Now, do you see why we call her lost?"
I do. He winks at you, exaggeratedly. Understood. No,
I can go,
Elijah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're certainly. I mean, if two historians are better than one, so
yeah.
Don't say that.
I can just talk with her on the way, and the guards, so of course they can follow.
And you never know what just common talk will bring about. Just like you had said about history books, you just never know.
Right. Honestly.
So, by all means.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna.
You're going?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going.
She doesn't say much as you guys exit the ruins, or this building you're in, and start to wind your way through the ruins. Yusuf is behind. He's about 15 feet behind you. He hands Melina a torch, and she says, "Oh, I don't need that." And she produces flame in her hand, and uses it to help guide along the path. The path is rocky, and she points out a couple of roots as you go along so you don't trip.
I have dark vision. Fine. I'm gonna say in Gnomish.
Ah.
Ooh.
Little people speak. Oh.
Little people speak. I'm gonna speak Gnomish and just
Racist.
say, do you know if he can understand us when we talk Gnomish? And I'm gonna nod towards the guy behind us.
What other languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Gnomish, Celestial, and Infernal.
Interesting. Okay.
But you can speak Halfling?
Not Halfling. Not at all! This is a terrible idea!
She,
Gnomish I speak.
in Celestial says he speaks Gnomish, but not this language.
That's good.
Oh god.
Okay.
I just remember that Matthew Mercer said Celestial sounded like Swedish.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yep. So
I don't
Imagine
speak
that.
Swedish.
Ikea.
Jag talar
Maybe
inte
we have a
svenska.
celestial
Jag talar inte
celestial
svenska.
chef.
Now I
Ska vi
wish
ta en
I spoke
fika?
Swedish.
Oh no.
Glass.
Oh my
What
god.
is happening?
What's happening?
God.
We're saying
Sorry.
we don't speak Swedish and ice cream. That's basically what I know.
What?
That's
Ice cream?
So,
Okay,
so,
yep.
Is there something I can help you with?
Do you have a daughter?
Fuck you. Alright. I don't... She kind of pulls up short. Yusuf
I'm just gonna
is
stare down in the eye.
getting closer and closer. Hey, move along. I don't... I did. She's dead.
Who said that?
We got a letter.
What was her name?
Hold on a second. Yusuf pokes you in the back. Elysian goes, move it.
Hey. I'm walking.
Okay.
Kill him.
Still,
Kill him. Oh, God.
I want to.
Just whirls around with a knife and just slits. Like,
He
I'm not
didn't
gonna-
do
I'm not gonna stab him.
aggressive.
Not
He
yet.
sort of
Back,
just
you can
kind of
blame it on
prod
the
you
swamp
along.
cows.
Yeah.
Nope.
Says, okay.
But yeah.
Says, I,
What was her name?
Alicia. Do you
She's
know
not
her?
dead. Yep.
Hi, Mom!
maybe not that.
Wait, how do you, she drops out of Celestial. She's so shocked. And she doesn't come away. How do you know her? There's no way. She burned. She died in a fire. It's not possible.
Well, if I was, I'm gonna speak still Celestial. Like, if I was gonna die, fire was probably not the worst. It's probably the worst way to go.
Do you say I?
Yep. I am a terrible, terrible daughter right now.
Oh my god.
You're the worst liar.
I'm also the worst liar.
Liar.
Dude, my deception is +2. It's not great. Also, my wisdom is -1.
Oh, that. Yep.
Hold on.
I'm not wise. I should not go alone.
Hold on.
Why are we not there, Volkar? Why are we
I
not
would
there?
just like to show you all. I'm taking a picture here.
Oh gosh.
Is it a
What I
picture
just
of a
Please be
gnome
like
with
good
a
for me and
round
bad for him.
Just memes. Oh.
Says at that point, she goes, I don't. She looks very confused.
I'm casting
I think
a-
you're lying. And I don't appreciate it.
Just.
I put my daughter to rest 15 years
Record.
ago.
Yeah,
You're being
I am.
She starts walking forward. Yusuf, take me back home.
I'm gonna drop alter self.
Okay.
Boom!
She's walking.
Yep.
She's not looking at you. She's just walking.
I'm not dead. I'm gonna shout in common.
Mom, look!
Mom, look, I'm alive.
Uh-oh.
I can
I'm
do
a
magic.
big boy.
Turns around. Sees you. Can you do an Arcana check for me, please?
Okay, I'm gonna use my portent roll of 13 and get a 21.
Got it.
Fine.
I'm not risking dice right now.
Yeah, no.
There is a haze that comes over her vision when she looks at you,
They're all ensorcelled.
Yeah.
and she says, you're a halfling.
Wow.
I'm not.
I have had... No. It's not. And she keeps walking.
They're just gonna walk back towards the party.
You cast it again?
I'm gonna cast Alter Self, yes.
Got it. You weren't too far down the path, so you can easily make your way back.
When you get back, Norax is like playing 3 Dragon Ant with the Imperialist, just like sat there.
And he's winning.
I'm still trying.
Right, probably, yeah.
That rainbow fire, like.
You got about 3 colors now. What do they see when you walk back in, Alicia?
Someone who looks
halfling, yeah.
really a halfling that looks really, really, really like not disappointed, just empty and sad and yeah, not good.
Yeah. Books can do that to you. It's really dangerous to learn stuff.
You come back in. Yeah, I was more going for expression. Sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah, it's like sad. Like
Okay.
she looks.
She looks like a kicked dog. It's bad.
Yeah, kick dog. That's the.
Yeah. She looks like kick puppy. She comes back in. Yeah, Noraxis is resoundingly losing at 3 Dragon Ants right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like it's everything he's doing is just distraction. Like
Yusuf comes back in a couple of minutes, and he immediately goes over to the Imperialist, and he whispers something, and he's looking at you, Alicia.
Yep.
And he stands up, walks away. The Imperialist looks at you, and he goes, "Are you? You know, I like to think that most people are upfront. And it seems that you've not been. So how is it you know my historian? Because Yusuf seemed a little confused."
She.
you know her?
Seems like your party members
I feel
aren't
like
even
you
aware
guys
of
know
this.
everyone. You guys know everyone. I'm so confused. How do you know everyone?
We don't know everyone. Shh.
She's
No, but
a
he
parent
just said
of a
he knows
child.
her.
She's a parent of a childhood friend of mine.
I need you to make a deception check on that shit.
Yep. I'm gonna fail.
You never know.
16.
Okay. Looks at you closely for a
That's
second.
it's not too bad.
Technically, is it a lie?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a lie.
Yeah.
Goes,
You,
well, is this friend, this was someone you were close to?
We were really close.
Yeah, that's, I understand that. The pull of home, familiar things. I understand that. Just, I wish he'd said something. I would have introduced you earlier. She's,
Well, we have a policy not to mix up professional and, other things.
That's fair. And I hate to tell you this, but she and her husband came to us. She had been in an accident and hasn't had the best time with recovering her memory. So she may not recognize you. I apologize for that. We've been trying different herbal medicines, some magic, but I don't want to mess with the brain. That's not really my area. Her husband's been trying to help, but so she sticks to her books. Hence why I said she's a bit reclusive most of the time. Sometimes she doesn't remember from day to day. It just depends.
Her husband, does he
Someone
have
with
better
more
memory?
wisdom
Because
should
he
hold
might
an insight.
remember me then.
It's possible. He is actually not in the village right now. He is out on a scouting mission. He's our alchemist, and yes, Elysia, you do know that that's correct.
Yeah.
He's our alchemist. He's been trying to find more uses for some of the plants that we've been finding around the island, or around the coast. So he's out with some of the scouts, trying to do some different concoctions. He's due
It's
back
good that
in,
she's not on her
I
own.
think a few days, but hard to tell with the jungle. You never know.
Is he part of the whole cataloging effort?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. Herbalist,
Useful.
alchemist, yeah. Takes notes, brings them back, brings plant samples back. Occasionally, and he looks at you, Marble, he goes, occasionally we set things on fire just to see what happens.
Yeah, it's
You
really,
never know.
it's you can call it research.
It is
You know.
research. Plants
If you
with
write it
certain
down, it's
reactions to
research.
fire. And
Do it in
sometimes we
crypt
piss them
then it
off,
counts.
so there's that too. So I apologize for Melina.
It's
She
fine.
can't help it.
It's fine.
I don't like to air that in front of many people.
That's
So you'll have to forgive me for that.
No, it's fine.
It is getting late. You're welcome to rest. We have rooms on the backside of the building. It's not much more than huts, but they're well made and they should keep the rain off of you at the very least.
yeah.
You're also
Yeah.
welcome to pitch your own tents if you prefer. It's completely up to you.
We have our own. You know what it's like being adventurer. You have your own places to stay.
Ah, say no more.
It's like a huge snout.
Taps your snout, yeah.
We don't tend to take up much space.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean, if you, whatever it is you need, you're welcome to, we can make more food if you need that, but, I'm hoping that you're agreeing to this, or do we have an accord?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good to me.
Excellent, excellent. So, a little bit of a finder's fee up front, and he tosses a bag your way, Volcar.
Ooh,
A little initiative, if you will.
cool. What's in the bag?
About 1,000 gold.
Cool.
Consider it an advance.
Good.
So, if,
Hopefully weather's gonna improve tomorrow, then we can be on our way.
let's hope so. But if you need anything in the meantime, you're always welcome to find one of my men. They will do anything that you need. And I am going to retire for the evening, but of course, if it's something vital that they need to get my attention for, they will come and wake me. Otherwise, I bid you a good evening, stay dry, and I will see you in the morning and see you off to the
All right.
temple.
Thanks for your hospitality.
Oh, you are quite welcome. We are nothing if not hospitable here. And you guys can wander off. Where do you want to... I'm assuming someone's putting up the mansion?
Yeah, but
I am.
where?
Do we want to go into one of those huts and then?
Yeah,
Inside
go to the
the
huts
hut,
because
I-
Where do we
need some
mention
quiet
that?
place on this
I'm
plane.
thinking, since the mansion is a sacred place of cookies, we should do it inside one of the small huts.
Sure.
Yeah.
You could do that. That's easy enough.
Hey.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do the thing. I don't have the item card, so I don't know what you're gonna do the thing.
Yeah. Mansion. Hazel showed you. You take out this
Yeah, she did. Show.
softball-sized jade orb with gold filigree all around it, and you basically just set it down. And Hazel told you that the magic words were "Go Go Cookie Mansion,"
Go Cookie Mansion!
and woof, this door of blue-green light
Woo!
opens up in the hut.
I did a thing.
Good job.
Cookies.
You guys can go to the Cookie Mansion.
So I'm gonna give the sack of gold to our party treasurer, of course.
Okay.
Do I decide what cookies are being made?
Yes.
I'm making like gingerbread cookies.
Whole place starts to smell of flour and ginger and sweetness, and it's delightful. Seven immediately throws himself down on a bench, curls his tail around him and starts licking himself because he got wet and he hates it. And he's like,
How much gold was in that?
1,000.
1,000.
1,000 gold pieces.
No, but like, how do you know everyone? Because everyone that's popped up, you just happen to know.
We've been around for a while.
Yeah.
Are you like really old?
You know,
No,
I don't
You said you've
know.
been around for a long time. Does that mean you're like super old?
No.
No, but that. I understand.
It's not actually been a long time, but you know, the funny thing is, I don't know the Imperialist, but he knows me, and I think I might have heard of him, but can't place him.
But then also that like smart lady, you guys know, like a childhood friend or something.
Alicia's not walking inside. I should mention she's gonna cast a spell outside.
Oh, okay.
So like, I'm gonna cast a dream towards my dad.
Ooh.
Okay, can you give me that spell?
If I can understand how you can, like, do spell cards there. There it is.
Oh god.
There it is.
Yeah, it's long. It's a big
Like
spell.
all of text. Oh god.
Basically, it means, I enter the person's dreams. And if they don't sleep, such the creatures don't sleep, elves, for example, I can't cast a spell on them. And I act as a messenger. The messenger is aware of his or her surroundings, but can't take actions or move.
Okay.
If the target is asleep, the messenger appears in the target's dreams and can converse with the target for as long as it remains asleep. I can also shape the environment of the dream, creating landscapes and objects and images.
Okay.
And if he's not asleep, I get to know, and I can... if the target is not asleep, I can wait until he's asleep. And just... Yeah.
Okay.
Or end the spell, or wait until the target falls asleep, at which point the messenger appears in the target's dreams.
Got it.
So I'm gonna sit outside and cast this.
In the hut?
Yeah, not in the mansion, because that's a different plane,
right.
but in like the hut.
Yeah.
Got it. So you sit down. It's a nice little hut, actually. It's got a stone floor with some rugs thrown on it. There's enough sleeping room in here for a few people. It would have been tight for you guys. But he did offer you several huts. So there were beds, there are dual beds, there's a chair, there's a little fireplace, there's a cooking pot, enough that you could live in it. And so you sit down on one of the rugs, it's like a deep maroon, and cross your legs and you enter this trance. The trance takes a second to kind of hold on to you, and you start to feel your vision go blurry. You get a little nauseous almost. Is this the first time you cast this spell?
Yep.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. And you think for a second, oh, I don't feel so great. And then all of a sudden, your vision goes white. And you are in a room, blank, and you feel like if you just reach out and push your thoughts out into this space, you can shape it. You think about your dad, and you think about his dark hair and his little jeweler's glasses that he always wore, and the vest that he loved so much, but constantly was wiping his hands on, and your mom would chide him and go, "Orden, no, you're gonna ruin it again." And he's kind of, wiping his hands on it. He's wiping, looks like some kind of, something he's blended together. He was always tinkering with things. He is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?
I'm gonna form the room so it looks like the house where we grew up, like his old study.
Okay.
Where I spent a lot of time.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and talk to him. Be like, "Hi."
Okay.
Like the awkward note that I am.
So, you push your almost your very essence out into this room a little bit to shape it, pulling from your memories, very fond memories of that time that you would spend. You would sit in your dad's wingback chair by the fire. You were little, so your legs never quite reached the floor. And you would watch him rapt with what he was doing. He always seemed like he was, even if he would say, oh, I really don't know what I'm doing, he always moved with an efficiency and a confidence that you just admired. You looked up to him so much. And you see him, he's behind his big scarred oak table, beakers and little bits of flame and coal going. The room smells like lavender and something astringent at the same time. And he's blending with a mortar and pestle, and he looks up and he sees you. Oh, my dear, my heart! I thought you'd gone to bed.
Not yet.
Oh, well, we won't tell your mother, okay? You know how much she'll get me if she knows you're out of bed when you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, you didn't just sneak in here to smell your dad's old stinky concoctions, did you?
No. I'm here to ask you about something.
Sure, go for it. Anything you want, dear.
What's the last thing you remember before you went to sleep? Where are you?
There's a look of confusion over his face, and he pours this kind of greenish yellow liquid that he was grinding up from plants into a little bottle. He shakes it. He goes, Wait. I'm not entirely sure. Oh.
This is a dream. But I'm not a dream.
But
I'm alive.
Oh, sweetheart, that doesn't make any sense. You're only 6.
I'm gonna look down at myself. Do I look 6 or
Yeah,
do I
you
look like...
6.
If I can shape things, I'm gonna actually look my proper age, which is just like...
Back to full
almost 30,
grown
like
man.
26 or something.
Right.
26, I think.
Wait, hold on. He pulls his glasses off. He's kind of... Hold on a second. How are you...
Magic. That's why I'm here. Or how I'm here, not why.
Oh. He drops the bottle he's holding. It splashes and breaks on the table. And he runs over to you and grabs you.
I'm gonna hug him back.
It's your dad.
Yeah.
He smells like leather and plants and a little bit of ink and your mom's perfume that she always wore. And he's just sobbing.
I'm alive, I'm alive.
I knew it.
I tried talking to Mom, but she
She's
didn't
not
want to
right.
listen to me. She...
Ever
Do
since
you know what it is?
we've been here, she's not been right.
Do you know if it's any kind of magic, or if
It's gotta
the
be.
Imperialists have done something?
I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's this area. We had some encounters with some... When we ran after the dragon hit Iman. And we were with a caravan, and it got attacked one night, and when I woke up, your mom's head was all bloody, and I thought she was dead. And I don't know what she got hit with, but she took a crack to the head, and she's not been right since. But I also think something else is going on.
My friend is a great cleric. Maybe he can help her.
That would be... But we can't leave here.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
I don't think you can. My dear, we're here because of me. I need you to understand that.
What happened? Why did you leave?
We've been traveling. We've been running. Ever since we left you with your aunt, I messed up.
What happened?
It's not important now.
It is.
It's
I
really
need
not.
to know.
You need to get your mom out of here.
I can't do that now.
I think I can fulfill her contract and mine.
I'm not living here without both of you.
You can come back for me. But she needs help. She needs better care than she can get here. And we're bound.
Would it help if I kill him?
No. That would kill every single person he has under contract.
I was afraid of that.
That's deep.
Now, if you can find a way to break the contract, but I don't want to see you kill anybody. That's not how we raised you. We didn't raise you to be. You look so much
You didn't.
older.
You didn't.
Where have you
know.
been? What have you done? I want to know everything, but we don't.
We have 8 hours.
Truly?
I might not get sleep, but we have 8 hours.
We have that long? How?
The spell lasts 8 hours, and you'll remember everything when you wake up. I've been studying magic while you were gone, and I might say I've gotten quite good.
You look like you've seen some adventures. You have.
Yeah.
What are these?
I
And he
spent-
points at your bracers. What are those? Those are beautiful.
Oh, that's my friend Ulrin, the great cleric, made this for me.
He must be.
Wow.
He must be more than just a cleric.
Oh yeah,
It's a
he's
kingly gift.
excellent.
Is he? Are you two?
No. 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 No.
That's an old joke from a long time ago. Neuraxis.
Oh yeah. No. I was like, no.
I just
no.
want,
no.
I would
No.
certainly want to meet this man and make sure that he's treating my daughter right.
No.
That's your dad's job. You don't get to take that away from me, young lady.
You're gonna meet Ulrin, but we're not together.
That's what you say. I bet
Where-
if I
where is
asked
this
you, you'll have a
conversation
different
going?
opinion. Well, anyways, is it just the two of you though? Are the two of you
No.
traveling?
We have we have an excellent bard named Wolkar. We have Neuraxis, who is a brilliant dragonborn and a great soldier, and we. Right now, we're traveling with the Tabaxi druid named Lost Marble, who I don't really know what's going on with because she's not insane. She's just weird.
Sam's
She
face
just
is
lost her
everywhere right now.
marbles.
I can say this. She's my friend. And we've traveled with a blood hunter named Hazel, but she's gone at the moment.
Oh,
She has some personal business that she needed to attend to.
that happens. I don't.
But
This is all very.
it's weird.
Yeah. Weird is a massive understatement. I don't.
I can show you pictures of them actually.
Oh.
I'm gonna conjure while I mentioned everyone. I'm gonna show them because I can conjure.
Oh yeah.
What does it say? I can creating landscapes, objects, and other images. So I'm just gonna every time I mention their name, I'm just gonna conjure their image so he can see what they look like.
Okay. Nice.
Because let's just use all of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Signal Rin. Yes.
Well, yeah. As soon as you point out that that's already goes. Well, that's a. Wow. He's very clericy. Very clericy. Is he I'm assuming it's the all hammer, probably?
Allhammer, yes.
Understood. That's well, I don't know much about the all hammer. I do know that he's a good entity, so
Yeah.
well, good for you. You're not boyfriend.
Not my boyfriend. As far as I know, he has a girlfriend in Craghammer.
Oh, wait.
You're not
I'm very confused now. Well, whatever makes you happy, dear. I Never want to cast judgment.
Wow.
I do not.
I'm not your boyfriend!
You can't see my face, Haley, but I'm just face palming.
Yeah, I know I can't see it. I wish I could.
Yeah.
This is your dad, though. I
Freaking
mean,
camera.
It's my dad.
this is your dad, and he's seeing you, several years
Yeah.
older. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he hasn't seen me in years.
No.
I love your dad.
He's allowed to make up stories.
He is the best dad. This is so good.
He's so much better than I pictured.
Oh.
Alicia will just like take a deep breath and then say, "I am not together with Orin. To be fair, I'd rather confess that I have a crush on someone else who is not in the group at all."
Understood.
Ooh.
Say no more.
Ooh.
And I'll show a picture of Flux. Yeah.
All the reveals.
Yes, I am happy DM. He goes, wow, look at that. Oh, God, I haven't seen a Genasi in so long.
She's so amazing and so awesome, and she's a researcher and she's helped me a lot, but I haven't seen her in like so long because we've been traveling and we haven't had the time to go into Amon.
Well, you need
And
to
we were
make
gonna go to
that
Amon,
time.
but then I scryed on you and Mom, and I couldn't put this off anymore. And after we fought Relishas, I kind of forced everyone to go here as soon as possible because, yeah.
Well, I didn't understand half of that. So, and we'll find the time. I just
Any proper parent
I
can't
just
understand.
need you to understand something. And he takes you by the shoulders and he's looking at you very closely and he says, I need you to understand something. Your mom is sick. You need to get her out of here. So, whatever you need, I will get it. But the only thing that I can really tell you is if you get on this man's good side, that's what you want.
We're gonna do a mission for him now.
The temple,
Yeah.
be very careful.
Yeah.
I don't know what's down there. Your mom hasn't found much, but those ancient temples were heavily guarded, and swamp doesn't mean anything to very, very old, powerful creatures. Be careful.
Question, which might sound weird. Where do you live and how is the house structured? Is there any way for me to sneak into my mom's bedroom and maybe help her?
Unfortunately, no. We live on the other side of the ruins, near the farms, and we're kept under guard constantly.
Well,
I don't think you understand. They have weapons that I've never seen before.
oh, the rifles.
Those.
The guns.
They
I've
do-
seen them before. They do a lot of damage.
they
Yeah.
do. They're extremely dangerous.
Yeah, we
do
had
your
a-
job, and I have a thought. You may be able to tamper with her powder reserves. It's a thought I've had before. But you would have to make sure, because the powder houses are put next to the farmland and the villager houses for that very reason. Because if someone tampers with them, it sets a bunch of people on fire, innocent people.
I was gonna say I have invisibility, but that only lasts for a minute. So
I'll see what I can find. I can start tracking guard rotations. I've been doing a little bit of that. And I will say this, when the Imperialist found out that your mother had an injury that was still hurting her, he did bring a cleric in.
Yeah, but I don't trust him at all.
Neither do I. And I have seen what his bad side looks like. He's very reasonable until he's not.
That was my guess, because he seemed really reasonable during dinner.
Yeah, he is. Until you do the one thing, that angers him, and then that's it. Because, from what I can tell, he will put anybody's life at risk to accomplish what he wants.
Seems like it, considering he wants to hire a bunch of adventurers to go down to a sunken temple instead of going down himself.
You can. I know that.
Yeah. I wouldn't survive without my friends, though. They are... Maybe one of them can help us tamper with the powder reserve. They have some great powers. And are much more sneakier than me.
I'll think of a way to maybe get us all in one spot. Some of the people who are also under contract here, we've made friends with.
What kind of contract is it?
It's a magical contract. It's the reason why I got your mom and I stuck here.
You cut out right now.
Oh, sorry. He tells you that it's the contract is the reason why they're stuck there. They did come here. They came south. They heard that someone was trying to revive the area, and they were curious about it. And he tells you that your mom quickly recognized that the magic on the contracts being signed was locking people into permanent slavery, and tried to warn people away from them, but they were caught. Which is why they are the only people under the Imperialists' quote-unquote employ who are under constant guard rotation.
Yeah.
And that's how he also figured out that your parents had talents.
Mm-hmm.
So he just tells you, because it was my fault.
This is not your fault. It's the Imperialist's fault.
That's very sweet of you, and I agree. He's not the best person. He's an awful man. His goal is understandable, wanting to revive that area. He is honest about that. He truly wants it, but I get the sensation he wants something else.
Yeah, we had the feeling during dinner too, but he didn't want to tell us.
Give him what he wants, and then maybe we can use that to our advantage.
Yeah.
So, over the course of... Are you going to sleep, Alicia?
I probably should, because or else I'm going to get exhaustion, which is probably not a good thing.
Yep. Okay.
So yeah, I'm probably just going to...
I mean,
4
at some
hours?
point, I imagine you'd covered everything.
Yeah, and then 4 hours just like hang out with him, just like catch him up what have happened the last years, and tell him about like my adventures and like what I've done, and also like asking like just hanging with my dad for the first time in years.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that conversation, he tells you a little bit about they've been all over Taldore. He won't tell you why.
Yeah.
He says
I'm gonna try and dig for it, but
yeah, he refuses. He says, "Just trust me when I say." And just as you guys get ready to leave this space, he kisses you on the forehead and he just says, "Just trust me when I say that. Unfortunately, you now have to realize that your dad is not worthy of the pedestal you always put him on. And I love you. And please be careful. And if it's okay, I'm not going to tell your mom about this."
Don't tell Mom. I love you too, and I'm gonna be as careful as I can. And don't, like, I tried speaking to Mom, but she was convinced that I was dead, so...
Between her head injury and whatever magic she's been made susceptible to here, as she's just... You're gonna have a hard time getting through to her, which is why I think your cleric friend could really help us.
Yeah.
And I know that they have good infirmaries in Iman. If we could just get back there, I think we could set her to rights.
I probably could pull some contracts with Laura too and get better.
Anybody you know. He takes one
The
last
Arcana
look at you.
Pontifical probably has contacts.
He takes one last look at you and goes back to his table and puts his hands on it. He goes, I'll see you.
I'll see you. I might visit you more during the next nights, if that's okay.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna torture or visit the Imperialist and frighten him in his sleep instead. I'm saying that out loud. I can't take it back now.
He kind of chuckles a little bit at that, and he goes, I wouldn't recommend going into that man's head, but you're an adult. Just don't do anything that's gonna get you killed.
Oh, that's a bit too late.
Oh,
and I'm gonna
very
stop the spell
worried
there.
when you say that.
I'm gonna stop the spell there.
Okay. Wait,
Yep.
Wow.
When you wake up, Norex is sat asleep on a chair in front of the door to the... Just, like, sat there. Like,
Yeah. I figure after realizing that, hey, she never got inside, we probably took turn waiting outside for her to come out of that magic trance, whatever.
I have my special magic sleeping bag that I can't remember what it does.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Well, your dreams can't be invaded by a spell like that while you're in it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go into Seven's room and I'm gonna sleep with him in his bed.
Okay. He has starfished again, so you kind of have.
I shove him and then cuddle up.
He swats at you, but it's not a mean thing. It's just kind of a. What do you want? What?
Shut up.
Okay. Goes back to sleep. Anybody else?
I'm gonna wake up Naraxis and get him to go inside and sleep instead when I... And I'm gonna see if Ulrin is still awake, and if not, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Okay. Ulrin?
Yeah, I'm probably still awake. Probably haven't been able to sleep very well. Probably just been meditating.
Finishing the boar.
I'm gonna, like, go to Ulrin and... Hey, I have a thing to ask you.
Sure, what's up?
If we find a moment where we can talk to my mom again, can you try and cast Greater Restoration or any kind of healing spell on her? Because I just spoke to my dad and she's not well.
Sure, yeah. I can, I'll see what I can do, see if there's anything about it that I can determine. I tried to see if there was some kind of spell while we were eating dinner, but I don't know, my mind's been kind of wandering a lot lately, so...
I understand. Thank you so much.
I'll, if you don't mind, detecting any magic if you can, and relaying that information to me.
I was gonna do that, but I can't do that while I'm there if I'm casting Alter Self. I was gonna do it if I'm casting Alter Self and it doesn't work.
Even if you can get a general idea, I mean, I don't necessarily need that. I just need some path that I know, so I can
definitely try and cast. I'm thinking the next time we meet him, not tomorrow, I'm gonna come clean about me using Alter Self, so I can actually cast detect magic in the area. But I'm thinking we do that after.
If you don't need, I mean, if you want to keep this up, I can detect the magic. I mean, I just need your help in determining, like, Arcana-wise, what kind of things. Because I can detect the magic, but that don't mean that I know a way about it. I mean, I'm not very magical. I'm more spiritual, and I'm more along the religious lines of magic, is not necessarily the arcana ways, more the divine ways. So I just need your assistance there.
That we can do. I can definitely help with the arcana part. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna hug Olrin and go to sleep.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Anybody else before we start the next day?
I think so.
Okay. All right. You guys wake up. House still smells like gingerbread cookies.
Yeah.
The house has laid out breakfast food for you.
Yum, 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 yum.
And you guys can... Got it. You guys can
So,
exit.
Can we assume that Alicia
That's some
told
great
us
important rules.
like all the important details? Like we don't kill the guy because everyone dies. Like there's contract.
Oh yeah,
and stuff,
I'm definitely. I'm not telling everything. I'm telling you over breakfast. I'm not telling you everything my dad told me, but I'm telling you like the important bits about what I got from like the Imperialists. Like, don't kill him or you'll kill everyone.
Yeah.
And that there are contracts involved and
The powder stuff.
that he's planning on.
Like everything except the personal family stuff, I assume.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And
Just
also my
making
plan
sure.
of like casting greater restoration on my mom when trying to. Because yeah. Also, Haley, that's my important rules that I just rolled.
Nice. 17 and 18. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you definitely got the impression, Alicia, that your dad wasn't telling you everything.
No.
And that maybe pressing that right now wasn't the most important part. Maybe once everyone's safe, you can get that out of him, type of a thing. He looked very pained to even have to think about. And like your dad, he is quick to take on the guilt and the blame for any situation that goes badly, and seems to be really beating himself up over all of this.
Yeah.
So he's putting on a good front, but still your dad.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ready to exit the mansion? Okay.
Yes.
Exit the mansion. Yes.
Could I?
Has everyone peed? Has everyone gotten their things? Have you eaten? Are you all ready? If you need to pee, go pee right now, and then we will leave.
I was gonna say, before I went to bed, I wanted to try and meditate again to try and see if I can detect if I can get a hold of any gods or any type of spiritual link again. It's kind of just been egging at the back of my mind. So
Sure, yeah.
I'm not sure. It feels like I'm grasping at straws with my beliefs, and it just feels like I'm kind of floating out in nowhere with no guidance or anything. I'm just kind of floating through emptiness, through a void, and I have no real path forward except to forge my own destiny. So I want to see if that's what I need to do, and if so, then I need to create my own spark. So
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and roll a religion check with advantage for me?
all right, religion.
Mm-hmm. Roll 20 being dumb.
As usual.
Oh,
damn!
Oh! Made up for that one. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You sit in meditative silence in your room, or where?
Yeah, just in my room.
Okay.
Just
So you're sitting there. You're just waiting. You start to get a little antsy. And pretty soon, you can picture yourself back in the Temple of the Allhammer, back home in Craghammer, where you had studied as a young dwarven man, learning the ways of belief and the forge. And so you just kind of sit there in that memory for a second. And you remember the heat of the forge and the way it felt to craft. That sense of fulfillment, trying to latch back onto that. You remember meeting Ellie. And you remember falling in love. And you remember big dreams of crafting that ultimate piece, that thing that would be the statement to the Allhammer of your belief and how you viewed the world. And so you just hold on to that for a bit. And pretty soon, it's kind of a warped perspective, because all of a sudden you can imagine yourself staring into the heat of the forge. We used to find such clarity, and your perspective kind of pushes out. It almost becomes like tunnel vision. And the heat leaves you, but the light is still there. And out of the forge walks a very strong dwarven man, dark red beard, braided intricately with gold thread all through it, winged helmet, hammer at his back. You know instantly, without even having to be told, that this is the dwarven mortal version of the Allhammer, if he were to be in a humanoid form. He puts the hammer down. It cracks the floor a little bit. It's so heavy. You know you couldn't lift it. And he says, "What are you looking for?"
I mean, I'm looking for, I guess, a path. What's my purpose? What is my meaning? I don't know. I mean, this has all rocked me to my core. I've tried to stand strong in my beliefs, and I've tried to remain true to your words and your wisdom, but I'm just not sure anymore. I mean, all this nonsense about the old gods and new gods and this endless cycle of gods, it's just, I don't know. It's completely different from anything I've ever known. What should I do?
I don't usually like pointing people in certain directions. One of the core tenets that you learned as a young man was that the forge is the path. But how you get there, I prefer my believers to find their own way. But if you are, and I can feel your turmoil, I can feel it. So if you want a path forward, is that what you're asking? You want direction?
I mean, I just want to know if I'd remain true to who I am, and if I forge my own path, if that is correct, or if... I mean, I don't want you to give me anything that you feel is undeserved or unnecessary. I feel a bit lost and a bit empty inside, and just want to know if what I'm doing is right by you or by anyone, really. I just want to fulfill my destiny as best as I can.
He waves his hand, and suddenly there are two large chairs, and he motions for you to sit. Please.
I appreciate it.
I've been watching, and I don't know that I have ever been quite so proud of one of my clerics as I am of you. But that's also coming with the recognition that you don't belong to me. You belong to Fortubo. I took his place. So, if you want to look at it as a path of lineage, perhaps. Maybe you are the next in line. And if that is the path you choose, then perhaps my time here will be over sooner than I expected. But what you do is you protect your friends. You fight for those who cannot. And you still hold my memory and my beliefs firm in your creations. I could not ask for more. Do not doubt what you're doing is the right path. You chose it, so it is right for you.
So, I guess in a roundabout way of thinking about it, we're sort of like family.
A bit. And I wish I could figure out why you were brought into the second coming of the world. I have not been able to find those answers myself. But I do think all of your paths lead to one ending. And it will be difficult. And you may have to make some truly difficult decisions. Earth-shattering, world-breaking, plane-shifting decisions. But I trust you know what is right. And if you decide that that means that I am come to an end, then I will have been proud to have served this world in the way that I did.
I appreciate your help and me understanding all of this and all of the efforts you've done in this world. It really means a lot. I'll do my best to do what's right, not for you, not for anyone else, except just do what's right, what's overall the right thing to do. I think that's the best that any of us can do, really, in life or in death or in anything. It's just uphold good.
Wish more people had your clarity. And I know that you haven't felt clear of late. And I know you've gotten visitations, and I know that she has spoken to you. The Raven Queen exists in an odd space between life and death, so you will have to forgive her for any lack of that same clarity. But understand that you cannot make a mistake even as close to as bad as the one that we made. And I am sorry that you have to fix what we created.
It's alright.
When it comes time to make that decision, and there will be a decisive moment, don't do it alone. All of you need to decide together. Right or wrong. Because all of us clerics at one point made a decision. It was quite possibly the wrong one. But here we are. Stand firm. Are you good?
I think I'm good. I'm rather good at fixing things, so if anything, I think I'm the right dwarf for the job. And I stand up and just kind of outstretch my hand.
He puts his hand on top of yours and wraps His hand is huge. Wraps your entire fist in his. And when he lets go, there's a piece of paper in your hand. A little more direction. And he picks his hammer up and walks back into that light. And you...
Sorry forever, Dalton. I just needed a spark, if you know what I mean.
You open your eyes, you're back in your room, and you smell a little bit of the forge, that heat and hot metal. It's like home. And mixed in with hazel and marbles, cookies, and the scent of armor oil, and the strain of some distant music, and the smell of fur, and a little bit of magic, all kind of wrapped in together. And you hear, just very faintly, I never doubted. You want to know what's on your paper?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very old parchment. And on it is a drawing of a tower shield with a massive eye in the middle.
Okay.
You know that you made that previously.
Cool.
So, you're looking for that.
Alright. And then I guess I'll go to bed.
Okay.
And then cut.
Morning comes. You guys eat heartily. Marble makes sure everyone's gone pee several times.
Yep.
That makes me so happy. And you head out of the mansion. The sun is just coming up.
Yay.
And I'm assuming you're going to go find your path forward into the jungle?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we see the Imperialist, I'm casting Alter Self. If not, I am staying in Ohm.
Yeah, he is on the other side of the building. It looks like he's going over some kind of map or plans of some kind with some of his guards, and they're pointing at one of the ruined buildings off to the north. And
But I'm casting Alter Self.
Okay, yeah. He sees you guys as you leave one of the huts. He's, morning. Apologies already. It's a little warm out here.
It's so humid.
Yeah.
Just a side note, I probably didn't cast it before I went out of the hut, so I stepped behind everyone else since I'm small and then cast it and then...
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Literally any of us could hide you just by standing there.
Stand in my shadow. That's
Yeah. I can stand in the middle and not be seen by anyone.
Yeah, you're fine. So, Alicia's a halfling again. He says, supplies, is there anything that we can do to help you on your journey south into these awful, awful jungle lands?
I mean, it's only 2 days to the ruins and then 2 days back, right?
Yes, as long as you stay on the path or near it and don't get hopelessly lost, hopefully.
We already have a lost. We don't need more lost.
You got a compass?
I have a spyglass that we could let you have.
In the jungle.
Never know.
Might help us find it if we wander off at least. Sure.
He hands one. He pulls one over out of a rucksack that's near the table they were at. Says, it was salvaged from one of the many, many shipwrecks. Well, at least one of the few that we've been able to get into without being, without provoking the merfolk, I should say.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, but if you need rations or water, We have all of that. You can see the galley for any of that if you're in need of that. Otherwise, I hopefully will see you in a few days.
Yeah, a week at most, I would think.
At most, yeah. Or you may like it so much out there that you never come back, and I'm out 1,000 gold, and...
Not likely.
Well, good to know that I am working with people of honor. I suspected as much.
Also not likely that we would love it that much.
That's true. I hate this weather.
I'm sure you do, with your scales and your armor. My gods.
Right, people, you heard the man. Let's go.
Okay. So you guys you head out. Path forward for the first few hours is actually fairly easy to keep on track because this is the path they've been using back and forth. So it's not difficult. It's hot as fuck, though. It sucks so bad. You know that this
I'm gonna try casting blue flames to cool myself down.
Make an Arcana check, which I know is your favorite thing.
10.
10.
A little better. Oh, wow.
A little blue around the edges, and you're like, "Oh, baby!" And you put your hand in there, like, "Ow, no, not so much."
No. Mm-mm.
7 just looks at you and
Don't
goes,
put your...
"Did you singe your fur?"
No, it's fine.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Smells gross.
It smells really bad.
But I definitely did not singe my fur.
Okay, sure, because I believe you completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows you're lying. Just looks at you and goes, "Oh, okay. Just try not to set any plants on fire until we know whether they'll eat us or not."
But you know, in the
it's
swamp,
probably
everything is so
much
damp
too wet.
that, you know, in the swamp, it's so damp that, like, fire doesn't spread.
But what about, like, gas? What if it's a methane swamp?
Well, he didn't say it was a methane swamp.
Didn't
Marble,
say wasn't.
if there's swamp cows here, there's gonna be methane. Please don't set things on fire.
Do the cows make methane? Do they, like, have a tinker, like an alchemy kit, and they sit in a corner and make methane?
Someone roll a nature check for me, just for shits and
Oh my
giggles.
God.
Somebody do it.
I was gonna say, I can ask my dad, but
Somebody
maybe not
do
now.
it.
From their butts.
I'm doing it!
Go.
15!
15. Elysia, if there's swamp cows, there's swamp cow poop, and that shit's
Yeah.
flammable.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So
I know swamp cows that doesn't
all I can
exist,
picture
but
now is Marble picking up cow poo, lighting it on fire, and throwing it at enemies.
Oh God.
That would be so great.
improvised
God, no.
weapon!
Improvised
All I can
weapon,
think of is the ending of the movie Black Sheep.
Oh.
It's like
I'm pretty sure that's Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
This is gonna be bad.
it's like fire damage, but also splat damage.
Also a
Oh.
con save.
Smell
Yeah,
damage?
can't save.
Smell
To
damage.
not vomit. Yeah. Okay, so you guys start to head out of the ruins down these paths. You see guards, but the more you keep going, the fewer you see. They're mostly either just doing rotations, looking out. Occasionally you'll hear a, "Oh, what is that?" And there's like a bird or a big parrot up in the trees. As you guys walk, everybody do perception checks for me.
Perception.
My jungle music.
13.
13. Okay.
I see a tree.
Nat 20.
19. Oh, goddamn.
9.
28. Sit down.
Oh, yeah. And actually,
Yep.
let me roll for 7. Okay, yeah, he did all right. He got a 19. So
I have a 4. I see a
Marbles
tree.
definitely spots this right off of the bat. But as you guys are walking into denser and denser forest, you see something jumping from tree to tree. The leaves are shaking several paces ahead of you. And eventually you see it stop, and then there's a little, like, furry tail that kind of curls out of the tree. You hear
I don't think that's a swamp cow.
something comes hurtling out of the tree. I need you to make a dex save, Marvel.
Me?
It's aiming right at you.
Monkey attack.
There we go. 20.
Yeah,
Dirty
20.
20.
You kind of dodge out of the way as looks like a fruit comes flying at your head.
Is it like an angry flying, or is it just like curious, wanna...
Didn't look like it was lobbed with much force.
Nah, okay.
The tree starts shaking
I'm
again
gonna-
as this creature jumps into the next tree ahead.
Oh, did it jump back?
No, it's going forward. Away from you.
No, but
guys.
like, didn't it... Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's moving ahead.
Should we follow it?
Why?
Let's just follow the road.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can shoot back. No, do we?
So you guys stay on
No,
the
but
path.
it looked cute.
stay on the path. Let's not get lost.
Yes.
Can someone talk to it?
I
I mean, that
No.
seems like a you thing.
Well, I didn't really have it prepared because I was so caught up in like going to like a thing. I didn't pick that spell today.
Ulrin pipes up from the back. You want to tell him what it is, Ulrin? It's a monkey.
It's just a monkey, guys.
Yeah, but we could talk to it.
I mean, I don't think it'd be any help for us getting to the ancient temple, sunken temple.
Right.
I think it'd just be a
Thank you.
distraction. So
Thank
we
you.
should just stay the course right now. Maybe on the way back we can chat with the monkeys and the local wildlife and see how their day's going in this hot ass jungle.
We need 2 days to get there.
Right now,
We-
being
we're
underwater
gonna
would be
have time
fucking
to
great.
prepare that spell to talk to monkeys and
Yeah.
swamp cows if you want.
Yeah, that might
Doesn't
be.
need to be this one.
Neuraxis is here, like, just like, what the hell? You look down and you realize that your bag is a little heavier than it was before, and you didn't quite notice it until now.
What? My
There's
bag
a
is
little
what?
pouch that's been tucked into your bag.
What is?
It rattles.
Like opens it away from his face. Like,
You open it up and there are it looks like 10 vials of this light blue liquid and a scrawled note with the imperialist handwriting that say, "In case you need to go underwater."
No.
oh,
I don't
no.
like him.
I don't
Good
like
thinking.
water.
Do you tell us what's on the note?
You just like there's like a sigh. Okay, well, all right. Former Keep just like starts passing them out. Like if we have to, swim underwater, we might just don't lose it. I don't have a spare. Keep holding it. It's just like
Dad is the
So they're what,
Neuraxis
for the grouping?
is the dad of the group. Don't lose it. I'm not buying you another one.
Also, unless we have to go into the water, we can just walk on top of it.
just don't drown, okay?
No, but we can just walk on top of the water. It's no problem. I can cast that on us if we
Yeah,
have
but
to.
if the chamber we want is submerged,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying if we don't have to go into it, we can go
Yeah,
over
yeah.
it.
that's
we
good to
can
know.
also swim. I mean, that's still a thing.
I think
I-
breathing is the problem.
I'd rather not swim if it's strong currents or
It's a
like
temple.
needs
There's
strength.
probably not much current in there. It's
Because
temples
I
and
didn't-
swamps,
score is what again, Alicia?
5! I should not swim
You're good.
unless someone is carrying me. Also, I shouldn't because I have books in my backpack.
Yeah, that
I
too.
shouldn't touch. They shouldn't touch water
That-
at all.
Also, I get so soggy when I'm in water. It takes ages to dry off.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a
Before we go into the water, Alrin, you need to take my stuff and put it in a bag of holding. Not now.
There you go.
Before we go into the water.
Okay.
Sounds
You
for
guys
the
do
best.
that. As you guys are kind of rustling around Marble with that perception check of a natural 20, I'm going to give you this. You see the... Well,
Oh, your
this
sound cut off.
Oh, sorry. Your
Oh.
nat 20 perception. I will give you this up ahead where the monkey has gone. You hear a... and suddenly there's no monkey, and a little bit of fur and blood fly.
Oops.
Hey guys, the monkey's dead. See what happened when you don't listen to me?
Well, I guess now we have to head to the temple and not talk to the monkey, so that's great.
Like, as soon as Werble says it, it's like shield up, Eldritch Blast in the other hand, like...
Whatever it
We
is,
have a
just say the
problem.
monkey. I don't think it's gonna come for us. Probably not.
You
I don't know.
watch across the path as a black leopard jumps into the nearby trees.
That might be a problem. If it
You
attacks us.
think?
If it attacks us.
Should we just attack it, or should we just try to sneak past?
You just say the monkey. It's not gonna attack like
Let's-
half a
Yeah.
dozen people. that
Let's
are
not
easy to
attack
defeat.
it unless we need to. Let's save our spells and... Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just continue walking.
Okay.
Can we put Alicia in the middle? Because I feel like she's the easiest one to, like, snatch and catch. Like, I'm just
True.
putting it out there.
Do we have a rope?
I do, actually.
That's-
That's not
Yeah,
a bad
can,
idea.
can we just like
Wow.
tie
like
me to
Round his
someone?
waist.
I'm-
Like,
I'm
twice
gonna
around the
be
waist, and then...
behind Alicia, just
Like-
in case.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Anything
tied to
that comes
Drax in
nearby.
case anything tries to grab me.
Okay.
Because
I
he has a
will-
point.
Okay, so a little bit of a marching
Okay.
order. You guys keep along the path. Eventually, the path starts to narrow and become less well trod. You lose sight of guards. There are fewer and fewer, and eventually they disappear as you make your way through the course of the day. I'm going to need everybody to roll a Constitution saving throw. Disadvantage if you are in metal armor.
Disadvantage.
It is hot AF here.
Oh yeah.
24.
24.
21!
Oh no, I am terrified.
Oh no!
Don't like it. Didn't like it in Marquette, don't like it in the jungle.
15, so not
That's
bad.
fine.
Not bad.
That's fine. The only one who failed was Neuraxis with a nat
Yep.
1. Yeah, you do get a point of exhaustion.
Yep.
It is too hot here.
I'm hot, I'm tired, I am grumpy.
Yeah.
Like,
You have a
I
grouchy
am the-
dragonborn.
I'm a bad person to be tied to. That's probably... Like, he keeps, like, walking, like, too fast and then feeling the pull on the rope and having to, like, slow down so you can catch up. Like, it's a whole thing.
Okay, what's your walking speed?
With the helmet on 50.
Minus 25.
So it just, like, starts walking and then, oh, for God's... Come on. Like,
You know,
You can carry me if you want to.
I think there
No,
is
but-
probably a point where you just, like, go on the shoulder. It's like, not like... It keeps going.
There you go.
I can polymorph us. If that'll help
Well, I-
someone who's maybe a bit hot and bothered.
Let's... Maybe not.
Just grumbling, like, I don't want to be no stupid animal in this stupid jungle with stupid... It's just like...
You could all be monkeys.
No.
I shouldn't feed Sam.
So if someone becomes a monkey,
Do
they're
not
gonna
feed
get
Sam
eaten by
after
a- by a
midnight. It's a
Black
bad
Panther.
idea.
or dunk them in
The
water.
mistake has been
Turns
made
into a gremlin.
before.
Oh my god. So you guys eventually make your way. The sun slowly passes overhead. It feels like the day is dragging on. You do find some date trees. You find some coconuts. There is running water. But eventually you are definitely following a jungle path.
No, I knew I should have had more.
And you turn around and you can see the ruins off in the distance along with the far-off mountains of Daggerbay itself. And then with the way you guys are going, to the east, you do hear the very distant crash of waves, ocean waves against the coast. And you can see you're catching up now to the ruined village that sits way at the base of the ruins of Onoa. The village is very much like the ruins. It's overrun by jungle plants, and time and weather have eaten away at what were once beautiful stone buildings. You can't make out what most of the buildings were, but a few of them have some structural integrity and stand partially still there. Some of them have just collapsed completely.
Oh.
What time is it?
You're
Yeah, is this
you're
the
getting
end of
into
the day?
twilight at this point.
So, I guess that's our first step.
Yeah.
Good.
Set up the
Wake
mansion
up
and
here.
sleep.
Yeah. It's like a grant
Sure.
sheet Noraxis. Like, no, we were just going to keep walking. Like, he's like, not happy.
You guys are kind of inspecting, looking around. There is one major building kind of in the middle of this village. It's about the size of Duren, if you had to scale in your minds. And there is a massive building that looms, and you see what looks like underneath one of the arches an abandoned campsite.
I'm gonna investigate the campsite if I can to see if I can. How long it's been since someone were here?
Yeah, anyone can roll investigation or survival, whatever is stronger for you.
26.
Shit.
24.
Shit.
19.
Holy crap, you guys.
I'm just gonna be derping around.
You can derp
7.
around. 7.
Yeah, because I have a +3, and my perception is even worse. So
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm
my
just gonna
investigation is
derp around.
+8. So.
Okay, so Elijah and Marble, as you guys start looking around the campsite. Ulrin, you look over, so let's split this. Elijah and Marble, you guys are looking around. Campsite might be a day old at most. Someone was here very recently. In the dirt, and the dust and just kind of the plant matter, you see 2 distinct sets of footprints. One of them is very small, no more halfling sized. Another one is quite large, flat-footed, with toes that don't look like any humanoid you've ever seen, but they don't look like they're wearing shoes.
Would I guess that this might be my dad and his expedition?
There's only 2 sets of footprints here.
Yeah.
And it sounded like, from what the Imperialist told you, he'd set your dad out with several guards.
Yeah, probably more than them.
So other than the occasional animal tracks, you don't really see much here. Other than those 2 footprints. They definitely camped here. There's remnants of an old fire. Looked like they had made a cooking spit out of a tree branch. You actually do see some small fish bones spit off to the side. Yeah, someone was here. Ulrin, as you look around, you're pretty sure the building you're standing in was a temple at one point. It has these arches to it that you only ever really see in temple construction. And the stone, you and Volkar would come to this conclusion with your stone cunning. This stone is from Craghammer.
Ooh.
It's dark gray granite and heavy rock with flecks of gold and pink in it that you know was once mined in Craghammer. The other thing that you guys see is a very particular symbol as you're looking around, and Ulrin, you spot this first. It is carved into one of the walls.
The stone is from Craghammer, but is it also dwarven construction type or
It is
human?
dwarven construction, yeah.
Huh.
Very clearly. You do see, if you guys can see that, you see that?
Nope.
Top eye with one eye at top with 2 below, and it is the symbol of Ioun.
Okay.
Also, history question.
Mm-hmm.
We know that this place is more or less where the humans first came to Tal'Dorei, but were the dwarves and elves and other races there already then?
This was the first human civilization.
Right.
Because Onoa and the surrounding villages also were port cities, like any good port city, eventually people migrated.
Yeah, but I mean, it was the first human city, but well, like, did Craghammer already exist?
Craghammer would have already existed, yes.
Yeah, okay. So they arrived, they made the city, they made contact with dwarves built this thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
History revision.
So, yeah, you guys can hang out here for the night if you want. It is starting to get dark.
Better not walk in the darkness, I think.
Yeah.
Should I put up the thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Go, Cookie Mansion!
Doorway.
This is like the best command word.
I think Noraxis would ask over.
I'm making fruity cookies.
Okay.
Like fruit bits. Dried fruit bits. Like raisins and stuff. Sultanas.
Okay.
I think Noraxis would ask Olrin, like, is it normal to build 2 temples to the same person within like a day of each other? Like, if we're gonna walk if we're in one now and we're walking to one, why would you build 2 really close to each other?
I don't know. I mean, it could just be like a library or something like that. Ayun had a bunch of different storage houses, and it could be like a monastery type style to where it's like there's like a main one and there's like little satellite temples around it. Kind of like barracks, I suppose, for you. You know, you have like the main barracks and then you have like a front post and like a side post. So it'd be similar to that. That's as best as I could think of. I don't know.
Maybe this one's just like village temple and the other one is, different purpose. Or maybe the other one's sunk in the swamp like really long time ago and then they built this one in the village.
I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, those are all reasonable guesses.
Just...
Conk out. Anybody want to do anything?
I'm gonna cast, since we're going to sleep, I'm gonna cast a dream and just talk to my dad for like an hour.
Okay.
I want to try and figure out like how long ago was this built.
The village or the temple?
The temple.
Okay.
Because I used to be a dwarf mason before I became a bard, so...
That's true, yeah. So go ahead and do a history check with advantage.
Ooh. History... Punk. Yeah, I got a good thing for I had the advantage. That's gonna be a 23 instead of a freaking 1.
Okay, 23, yeah. You look at it, you step outside the mansion for a little bit, the sound of the jungle at night. The air is still thick here. Thankfully, the oppressive heat from the sun is gone. You hear monkeys and birds and little scurryings around you, but nothing that causes you alarm. And you're inspecting, and along the base of the building, along the foundation, you can kind of start to see how they had built it. Now, this is coming from someone, me, who has no architectural knowledge whatsoever.
It's cool, I don't have any either.
Yay! So basically, what you can discern, we'll shortcut it there, is that it's probably several hundred years old, but not as old as the ruins of Onoa. So this would have been built after that, just like probably a good chunk of the village. Because you had seen this similar construction throughout the village as well, but it just didn't withstand the time and wars and God knows what else.
Yeah.
And the encroaching jungle.
I will share this information to anyone who's interested in history and architecture.
Okay.
Alicia will be interested, but she's kind of busy right now.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk to your dad about?
I'm just gonna talk to him and ask him what he's doing right now and where he is, like, in what's the word? Relation to us and the Imperialist, like where he's on his travels, and if he knows
where you at?
Yeah, and also if he knows like who the person that we saw, who might have been at this campsite, could be.
He has no idea about the campsite. He doesn't know why anybody would stay in those ruins unless it was like you guys and you have some means of protecting yourselves. Because it's just not, the jungle south are not wise places to wander around, especially with just 2 people. So he's not sure if they're foolhardy or what's going on there. But you just watch your back. They are north, closer to the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
They're north of the ruins, far north from you, closer to the mountains. And he is working on. They have found this small red berry that grows near the foot of the Daggerbay Mountains that he suspects has some kind of like stabilizing ability that maybe would help with wound closure. So he's running those tests right now. You see him, he's got a fresh cut on his face. And it looks like one hand has been bandaged.
Okay.
Maybe a monkey jumped on his face.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him like what happened and if there's anything I can help him with from my position.
It's just the wildlife around here. We got we ran into a bullet nest, and those things are awful and mean. The guards were able to take it down, but they lost a few people, and I got scratched, so I'm okay, but thankfully they moved me out of the way. I'll give the guards that. They certainly have their orders to protect me, so...
They have bullets in this jungle, Jesus.
Near the mountains.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, I'm afraid if we get too close to the mountains, we'll catch the eye of the Cyclops that live up there, and that could be really bad.
Yeah. Oh, I need to go to him after a while.
So, why would you want to go...
He has a book that I need, I think. Isn't that right, DM?
Yeah, no, sorry, I was rolling.
Yeah.
He freezes when you say that. He says, no, I forbid you to go anywhere near those storm callers. They're not to be trifled with.
I kinda need to. Can't really stop me. I'm an adult.
I am your father, young lady, and you are not, but he's kind of grinning when he's saying this, so it totally dispels the illusion of him trying to be stern.
Yeah.
It's just like, but seriously, you...
It's not the first thing on our list. We have other things to do first. Don't worry about that.
It's okay, Dad. We already killed a god.
Yeah, when I told him the story yesterday, I might have, not told everything, and just, a bit vague about how dangerous the situations really were. And I definitely didn't tell him about those 2 or 3 times where I've been unconscious. That wasn't mentioned at all. No.
Volkar got stabbed to death. That too.
That's not mentioned at all.
He can tell you a little bit what he knows about the Cyclops. There's a whole tribe of them that live near the mountain peaks. They throw large, they call them stones. They're boulders. They throw boulders. If you approach...
Stones?
Yeah, they look like stones in their hands. They're boulders. And some of them have strange powers tied to the weather. And that they're at war with the merfolk. The merfolk are at war with the Cyclops and the humans. And he actually thinks that the merfolk should be the rightful owners of this part of Taldore, because they're the ones who really it belongs to them. In his opinion, the land belongs to them. Or the ocean, I should say, the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the land, merfolk...
That'd be fun.
No. Very strange.
I thought it was humans, but yeah.
Just be careful. You're getting mixed up with some stuff those Cyclops are not anything to mess with. And like I said, some of them have strange powers with wind and storms. They can shut the whole mountain peaks down with a storm if they so choose.
We're definitely gonna be careful, and hopefully it's gonna be a while before we head there. And
maybe if you don't need the book right away,
it depends on how quickly. It depends on the other stuff we need to get, and if we can go. We need to go to Kragammer first, and then maybe we come back here. Maybe.
Don't and I know this is my dad self talking, but maybe don't make sure you take time for you too.
Yeah.
And maybe go see your friend that doesn't know you like them.
Friend. Yeah, friend. Yeah, I'm gonna go now and get some sleep, so I'm ready for tomorrow. Goodbye, Dad.
He's like, okay, yep, no, oh, there she is. Look at her face. Her face is so red right now.
Yep.
So you guys
She's gonna go
rest. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to do? No? I will note, Ulrin, for the first time, you've gotten a full night's sleep without having some kind of bad dreams or feeling restless.
Yay!
Yay.
You've rested enough before to recover health and spells, but
Yeah.
you wake up and it's just like, oh, that's
Now,
what
if only I
feels
could
like.
do that in real life. That'd be
Exactly.
Right?
I wake up and I'm like, wait, I slept. Right. I
Still
feel
shit.
like shit still.
Nope.
What? Oh shit, I'm late for work. Oh god. And there's snow everywhere. Fuck me. Okay.
You guys wake up, you eat. Marble, make sure that everyone pees again. I'm using that now. You gave me that. It's mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does she like watch us and make sure? Because I don't know
Do you
how
need any
comfortable I am
help?
with that. I don't know. I mean,
it's probably worse because me and you have to help each other in and out of
in and out of armor, yeah.
like, that's not a team.
So it's already
exercise.
like I'm surprised people haven't started shipping us yet. Ooh, they help each other get undressed. Oh.
That's
Every morning
what
just slowly doing this.
That's where the fan art comes in. It's like, oh god.
I'm kind
It's
of
very
likening
tweak and
it to bridesmaids holding a bride's dress while she
Oh my
pees,
god.
Oh,
which I've had to do several times. So you know, it's.
I'm
Some
getting
comment about
I'm
polishing
getting 7
cauldrons,
to
like, that's not...
I'm getting 7 to braid my hair.
You kind
makes sense in this weather.
of just like start.
No,
No, you doesn't. Your hair doesn't behave. Stop it.
yeah.
Cat spit. So he does that. It looks good. Looks really good. He kind of has looped it around your head a little bit, as much as possible, so it's not gonna poof out on you too badly. You guys exit, and in the village ruins, looks like animal tracks circling the door of the mansion.
Can I
Very
look
big.
at the tracks? Can I look at the tracks to
Yeah, they look
see
like
what kind of
monkey
animal it
tracks.
was?
It looks like monkey tracks. Small.
Look, our friend came back. Well, no, he died. His brother came back.
But you guys exit, and you know that you have about another day's journey to get to the Sunken Temple. So, for the sake of brevity, you guys manage to stay on the path, keeping an eye out. The jungle closes in on you, and eventually, off in the distance, you can see. You're still probably a few hours away, but you can see the rise of something out of the swamp.
Ooh.
Up ahead, a few miles up ahead, as the jungle kind of clears
so
and then
pretty.
moves and shifts, and you know that that is where you're supposed to head. And we'll pick up next game on March 3rd with that.
Woo!
Ooh.
Woohoo! Wholesome game. It was
Yes.
kind of wholesome.
Wholesome.
Kind
Not
of.
much emotion.
Yep.
A lot of.
But less mystery now as to what's going on with Elijah's parents. So.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to actually have answers, and Elisha is too.
Oh.
Yeah, it's cool to have more answers, but at the same time, it's like it's sad that Elijah's mom has.
It could have been worse. It could have been
Memory
both of them.
I
was afraid it was gonna be-
Oh no.
I was gonna be afraid none of them remembered me or thought like.
It would have been even worse.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
sure.
happy.
At least you're gonna
Is
run
it-
out of two.
Is it worse if they were dead or if they'd forgotten? What's the like?
Forgotten is worse.
I don't know. Forgotten is easy
Well,
to cure, I think.
yeah. I mean, we could maybe fix it.
Oh no, that would have been worse because like if I'd scratched them and then they had been dead when I arrived, that would have been worse.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
That'd be
I
bad.
wouldn't have gotten an answer.
Yeah.
No, if
No,
like
but if
I'd
they were
scryed
alive-
In the
they'd
time
been
in
alive.
between.
It's been flat. Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Yes, they were there.
That
and
would've
all
been
of a
worse.
sudden-
You were
We took too long.
you were
to
like
get here.
24 hours too late.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not that
well.
mean. Jesus. Anyway, all right,
am.
so we will end the stream here, guys. Thank you so very much. March 3rd, next game, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out Volcar, aka Squirrels' game tonight. That's at 7.
Yep. 7 p.m. Eastern.
Hey. And don't forget, we're Dice Envy affiliates. You can see our Twitter handle at terrible_party for all of that info. Get yourself some sweet dice. We're gonna run charity games soon. All the more details, all kinds of things to come. Thank you guys so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.